Aha, here we are. You guys should be unmuted, hopefully.
Hello.
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 All right, there we have it. As always, let me know if there's any issues, audio or anything like that wise, but hopefully everything's as we left it. And we can jump into things with our recap of previous events. So, previously on Blutora Divided, our group of adventurers had made their way into the city of Nautabu. At least 4 of them, as Ocean appeared before the rest mysteriously and without memory. Within the city, the group aided Kulan, the monk, in his quest to track down a group of assassins responsible for attacking him and his fellow monks, killing one and leaving one MIA. Within a tavern known as the Wayward Wyvern, the group learned of a bounty issued by the monarchy of the city for 3,000 gold pieces to investigate strange noises in an abandoned manor in the western regions of the lower tier of the city. They also learned that the assassins seemed to have taken to pursuing this bounty, and as such, our adventurers decided to follow suit. In the manor, the group encountered a number of horrifying monstrosities that they were able to dispatch, although not easily. They set off traps, they found secrets, located useful items, and eventually made their way into into a cellar where a fight with the 4 assassins took place. A hard-fought battle that saw many a dagger, some close calls with fire, a flooding of the entire room with old wine, and words sharp enough to literally kill. Eventually resulted in the party coming out on top. They tied up 2 of them and learned more of Kulan's quest. That instead of these assassins being involved in a smuggling ring and being chased by the monks, they were instead using the smuggling ring as cover, as the monks themselves were the targets marked for kill by the assassins. Confused by this revelation, Kulan and the others continued to push on, entering a series of caves that eventually saw the group ambushed by a group of serpent and worm-like monstrosities and narrowly avoiding a fight with an Umber Hulk. At the end of these caverns, the group discovered the likely source of the 3,000 gold piece bounty, a large and terrifying serpent that upright stood 10 feet tall. An intense battle took place, and after the creature was felled, both Ocean and Kulan were left encased in stone, petrified, from head to toe, trapped in place and time. What would you like to do?
How much do you think we can get for these gargoyles?
Now, I don't think
There it
gargoyles
is.
is the right word for our compatriots here. Statues seems more apt.
That's fair. We have to do something. We have to save our companions. I don't know any magic that could help, sadly.
I wonder. Would I have any idea what kind of magic would reverse this? Because magic.
Those who are inclined, go ahead and make either an Arcana check or a Medicine check, and let me know which one you make.
I'm gonna go ahead with an Arcana check.
Okay.
Same.
That's going to be a 23.
Okay.
20.
Okay.
I'm going to make a medicine and 11.
Okay. All right. So, Pipra and Hera, you will have, although not direct and exact knowledge of this kind of thing, you'll have a pretty good idea that from your various studies in the realms of magic and magical effects, when it comes to petrification, a lot of times enchanting the blood of the creature that causes it, and administering said enchanted blood can often revert the effects.
Quickly, while it's still fresh, let's take a sample of this thing's blood. Have any of you a potion that you don't mind pouring?
Let me check.
I'll quickly drink the potion of healing.
Oh, actually, that's a good call. I'd like to. Do I have one?
I think everyone should
Never
have one.
mind. Oh,
Yeah,
do I?
No?
you should.
Yes, I
we
do.
found several and we dispersed them.
Okay, I'll drink a single potion of healing.
I'm guessing it's the 2d4 plus 2 that is in the description, or
Yeah, it
they
should,
changed in a way? No?
it should be, if it's in the description, you're probably good.
Okay,
Right.
2d4 plus 2. 4.
9.
Ew.
So, now that we have some free vials, and I'm going to go over to the slain, I think it was a basilisk?
Hmm?
The slain stone making statue thing snake. And I'm going to try and extract some blood from this thing.
Okay. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
I will try to help.
Okay.
9.
Okay, you can either both do one or you can give her advantage.
Go ahead with advantage.
Okay.
Classic paladin.
That is 16.
16. Okay. With a 16, you are able to. How many vials did you empty? Or are you just trying to get one full?
I only have one, but.
I gave the other one too. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'll go with 2 then.
Okay. With a 16, you're able to fill both of them with no real issues.
Okay.
Nice.
Vial of. And this would be basilisk blood?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to put this in my backpack. I wouldn't know how to enchant that in the proper way, would I?
You wouldn't know, like, via your own means, but you would know that there are oftentimes those who offer that kind of service, or at the very least of enchanters that could possibly know.
Pipra, you have no way of enchanting this blood, do you?
No idea.
You would not. You would be at a similar level where you know that it's something that you could probably find somebody for.
I'm afraid not.
Well, that leaves us in a predicament. I wonder. We're most likely to have a good time with this if we, say, went to town, see if we could find a potion shop.
I'm sorry.
Apotheker. I'm not going to try anymore.
Apothecary?
Thank you. We would need to find one of these if we were able to help our dear friends here.
I agree. But should we just leave them here?
Oh goodness, no.
I don't think
At the
that's
very
right.
least, we might be able to bring them to the mansion, and then, if nothing else possible, wheel them out one by one.
I will
Perhaps
say,
flag down a passing cart.
I am not known for muscles. I cannot carry them. So that is up to you.
Yeah, no.
Sam.
If I may interject, during the gathering of the creature's blood in the vials, Sam, as you are helping Hera with this process, with your passive investigation, you will notice that etched into the creature, kind of, given it's a serpent, kind of in the stomach-ish region, where you might guess it would be, if you had to pick like one spot, kind of down from the head a good bit, there is a strange rune that is kind of like etched or carved in to the body of the creature, and you notice that it doesn't necessarily look recent or new, and it has a strange sort of energy about it.
I will make the others aware of it and try to investigate it. What
Okay.
kind of rune it is, if I can interpret what it does.
Okay. Would anyone else be aiding in the investigation here?
I
Yes.
think I'd like to try, yeah.
Okay, I'll have two of you guys make an Arcana check.
I have
Yeah,
pretty good
no,
arcana.
that's a 6.
Okay.
I have a +4 on Arcana.
I have +8. It's a
Oh, yeah, you do
22.
it.
Nice.
I have cat butt face.
Nice cat. Hello, Boeing.
Boeing.
Theo's never given up.
Nope.
I'm never giving up on that name.
And away she goes.
What was the second Arcana check for whoever was helping?
22.
Okay. So the rune that you see is of no real distinct shape per se. It's very angular. It's got a lot of hard to decipher sort of lines and curves and forms that it makes. It does seem to you, Pipra, that the magic, it is definitely imbued with some sort of magic, but the magic is unfamiliar and seems almost like it's of some otherworldly origin. Something that you have not even, like, it's not close to anything that you're familiar with. It's completely indecipherable, but the rune that you guys see etched into the creature looks a little bit like this.
Nice MS Paint drawing.
I wonder if this is the Anocian equivalent of the Superman S.
That's a complicated ass.
Yeah, this no, wait, no, this is what all the children learn to draw, like the cool S.
Mm-hmm.
The
But
cool S, exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're all talking about the same S here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's all. What do you say in Tales of Annocia instead of Greek, because Greece obviously doesn't exist.
Oh, what's the Enochian equivalent of ancient Greece?
It's all Greek to me.
I haven't given
it.
it thought, but now that you mention it,
Yeah.
we need an equivalent for ancient Greek, so I'll get on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna come back and be like deep speech or something.
I can imagine Sam is frantically taking notes at this opportunity of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to observe this rune carved out. It's like on its scales, right?
It is like in the stomach of the creature. Like if you go from the head and you just kind of follow the lighter patches around like the parts that would be slithering along the ground. A good ways down
You
to
really
where
don't know how to say snake's belly, huh?
well, like snake's belly could be like the entire length of the creature, so it's hard to like. It's a handful of feet down. Like if the snake isn't upright where it was like 10 feet tall, then you wouldn't see it because it would probably be like against the ground, if that makes sense. So it's kind of down the body a good bit, and it seems like it was like etched or carved in, but not necessarily like with a tool or utensil, but maybe more of like closer to like a branding or something, and you kind of get the feel that it was magically done. So like
Does
there's
it
no
feel like it has a magical effect that's currently active on it?
You're unsure as to an effect, but since Pipra pointed it out, those of you who are more magically inclined, which is all three of you who are not petrified, pretty much everyone in the party. So anyway, you feel like the aura I mentioned earlier. It is like this radiating magical just kind of presence. Like it's not necessarily an ominous something is about to go wrong. It's just this lingering, you just can feel that there is some sort of magical energy around this creature, but more specifically this carving, and the closer you get, the more you can kind of distinguish that.
May I try and use detect magic on it?
Yeah, let me pull that spell up real quick. Or is that an ability?
It is a first level spell.
Okay. Just pull it up so that I can follow along here on what all that is.
Basically, I learned what school of magic
Mm-hmm.
comes
Okay.
from.
Yep. So as you begin casting your detect magic spell, around you within the area, the only thing that really kind of catches your senses is this rune carved in the creature, which ever so faintly begins to glow as you kind of hone in on it. The rest of the creature itself doesn't really emit anything in its current deceased state. And the vibe that you get from this rune is that it is of some sort of necromantic origins.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
somebody has been romancing this snake's neck.
Okay. All right.
Are we looking at the same rune?
The rune I'm showing on screen is the rune carved into the creature.
I relay this information to the others.
Okay.
And nobody here has any idea what this could mean.
No.
That being the
mean-
case, I think we might be able to do two things at once. We may be able to prove that we did indeed slay this beast to claim our bounty, and possibly take it to an expert to be able to do it. And I'd like to take out my dagger and motion as though to start carving the piece of scale or hide from this beast that's been carved into it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna
who
try and do
would you're gonna try? Okay. Is anyone aiding?
I'll help. Even
Okay.
though I'm wondering what's the exact purpose of a rune on this type of creature is.
Right. Okay, so again, sleight of
We
hand.
do know.
You can either both do it or one with advantage. What's up, Pipra?
We do know that there was books of necromancy at the residence as
Ooh.
well. So it's possibly a former resident who did something to this basilisk.
Maybe it is a former resident, full stop. I'm gonna see if I can carve this thing.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Is that
Get
with-
advantage on that because I think.
Oh yeah, advantage. Yeah, so do. Hang on.
I think your sleight of hand
I
stat
rolled
is
an
better.
11.
an 11?
An 11.
It's rough, and it takes you a good 10-15 minutes to manage to get some semblance of the portion of this slain basilisk's stomach off. However, you're able to do it. The rune is mostly intact. You get the idea that should you bring it to somebody who would be familiar with it, they could probably still get the gist, even though it's not
Behold,
as pristine.
snake tummy. Okay.
Oh, thank God I sketched it before you gave a try at it.
Well, I'm glad you managed to get it. I think I got the gold medal prize. Well,
I'm going
sorry, continue.
to shape water
Mhm.
and freeze it around the meat so it does not sit there and stink
Oh.
up everything.
Of the
The snake belly that was just cut off. I'm gonna kind of like preserve it.
it's
freeze
more
it.
of like just like the kind of thick scaled skin layer, so there's
Okay.
not really too
As long
much
as it's
like
not.
yeah, you'll probably be fine without like
I was
that to
thinking
worry about.
visualizing a chunk of
Mhm.
meat behind it because of
Yeah,
how rough it came
No,
out.
not quite that rough.
Okay, cool. Then we're chill. I just
Okay.
Pippa is like me and gets grossed out by it. That's why she didn't.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right.
Makes sense.
Well, now we have some snake belly, some snake blood, and 2 basilisks. And 2 statues. I don't suppose anybody saw a quicker way out on their way in, did they?
No, we walked in group. This is we have to go back the same way we came in, I'm afraid.
Would I know of any other parts of this thing that would be very valuable to take with us?
That is a fantastic question. How about make a survival check, because I feel like that's as closest to what fits.
$12.
12?
Yeah.
You, as for basilisks in particular, you're not particularly keen or knowledgeable on things that it might have that are of high value, but you do know that oftentimes large beasts, monstrosities, creatures like these, various things from blood to scales to teeth to whatever the creature has based on what creature it is, can usually be gathered and sold. So in essence, you don't know exactly what for basilisks in particular go for a high amount, but you figure that some of its stuff could at least go for something.
Deductive reasoning. I'm going to take the fangs.
Before you take a fang, can I try and harvest some venom?
Both of you, do you have another vial?
I'm going to make one by drinking another potion.
I love this.
Okay, I have a water skin if you want.
I'm going to drink a potion because I'm low health.
Here's all these potions.
Okay.
Goodbye potions, we need some venom.
Venom.
Just don't forget you put venom in that one and
Yeah.
drink it thinking it's It's a healing potion.
I am mentally labeling these as blood. This is a healing potion, and I'm going to try and harvest the venom as I speak. This one as venom.
Okay.
I have a 1 in 5 chance of getting that right.
Make a sleight of hand check for your attempt at getting some venom.
Okay.
I
Oh
will
god, this could go
assist.
awfully.
You're gonna assist
What's
Pipra?
everyone's sleight of chand? Yeah, sleight of chat.
Chend.
Sleight of hand.
hand here. Thank you.
A big
Sleight of
old
chat.
0.
+4.
You've got a better one than I do.
Okay, so both
So
of
if
you
I
roll
roll
once.
and then you also roll, then
We'll
that's
take the
probably our
higher
best
one.
We
bet.
can both roll. Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 3.
Oh,
9.
okay.
Hmm.
I can Tides of Chaos this, I think. Oh no, I can't. I need to declare that before. Never
Yep.
mind.
So you're able to get something in the vial. You think? Yeah, maybe.
Perfect.
Sounds dark.
It's full of
Dark in
something.
This cave.
It's filled something perfect. I pop
Yep.
the cork back on and go, venom, and I put it in my bag.
Okay. Pippa, are you attempting to go for some fangs?
I am.
Are you just going for the big two fangs, or are you going for more teeth, or the idea?
The main.
Just the main two?
The main 2, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
8.
8. You are at your attempt unable to get the main two fangs out. However, you are able to, in the process, albeit somewhat unintentionally, knock 2 of the smaller, more normal teeth loose nearby. Of which, I don't know if I mentioned previously, this thing's got a mouthful of teeth, by the way. Like, it's not just the fangs.
I want to try again.
Okay, DC goes up, but feel free. You've got 2 normal
I'm gonna
teeth,
use the
regardless.
actual one. Okay. Ten.
At this attempt, the right side, the creature's right side, so if you're looking at it, left side, fang actually breaks at the tip and is now in a couple of pieces. The base of it's still in the creature, but it's kind of like chip tooth, but somewhat big chip at this attempt.
How big is this thing's head?
It's big enough to, albeit bit of a struggle, swallow a person.
Me being a particularly large person,
Yeah.
is it holdable like this? Like if I was to carry it like this, like resting one part
The
on my
head?
head and like that? Yeah, the head.
Okay, a person of your height, maybe, if they were not like really skinny and not very muscular. So, Hera's case, no, probably not.
That I wouldn't be able to carry it.
Yeah, but if you had a Kulan that was your height, then yeah, maybe.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
I'm just picturing a tall Kulan. That is scary.
That's a brilliant mental image.
It's a good thing Kulan's the shortest.
Well, I could either attempt to drag this thing out, but I might have to leave one of you two. Tell you what. We'll drag these two out to the mansion. And then, if we feel particularly attached to the snake still, we can come back for it.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
get these puppies later.
So you guys want to attempt to drag your petrified friends out of the cave?
But I still have
think
two
so.
of the teeth.
You have 2 of the regular teeth, yeah.
I know.
Okay. I will assume the 3 of you are going to do it one at a time so that nothing goes wrong, or are you going to try and get risky?
That makes sense.
Okay.
No, that makes sense to do it one at a time.
All right, can the 3 of
not
you
strong.
make a strength check? Just normal strength check.
Okie dokie.
Don't fail me now. Don't
I was
wanna.
gonna make Hera big to carry the snake, but I
Oh.
do not have the spell slots for it.
Oh.
No. That's a unnatural 20.
Natural 1.
Okay.
9.
All right. Okay. So
They're gonna lose a limb.
So the total
no,
is
it's not
3.
that bad. It's not that bad. It takes you guys quite a while, as the petrified versions of your compatriots are heavier than you might expect, and dragging it along the various slight inclines and rough divots in the ground and just the cave terrain proves to be quite difficult. But after a grueling couple of hours of work, you're able to get them out of the caves and up the stairs and towards the front of the manor, one at a time. And it does take you guys the better part of the day that you currently find yourselves in. So as you have both of your compatriots at the front door in petrified form with the remains of the basilisk down below, the sun is beginning to set.
I think we would do best to rest here and try to find someone who can save them tomorrow.
That sounds like a good plan. Maybe while you're looking for someone to save them, I'm thinking about that snake.
I was about to say, before I go to bed, I'm trying again.
I
get
kind
the
of want to
thing.
try that snake.
We're not giving up.
So you guys are going
Cody
back into
Minecraft, I
the...
would like to carry the snake.
Are all 3 of you going back in?
No, I'm guarding the
That's
petrified compatriots.
that's good.
Okay,
Just
so
in case something shows up.
the 2 of you are, if I'm understanding correctly, attempting to take the entire snake that,
Yep.
when standing upright, is 10 feet tall, and that's not even the full length of the body.
Okay, wait.
Can we take half a snake?
Can I hang on? Let me look at something real
Yep.
quick. I gotta
You know, I planned for a lot of potential outcomes here, and this wasn't even remotely one of them.
I will rest for a little bit before we do anything. I'm going to short rest.
Yeah, you guys can all take a short rest. Those of you who are not petrified, given it took you a handful of hours to get them up there, I assume you took a breather before coming down, so you can all short rest.
Okay, I'll short rest.
That being said, I use Arcane Recovery to gain back a second level spell slot and a first level. I make the snake small
Yes.
to carry it upstairs, and then it'll grow again. We have like a minute or so to do it.
Okay.
Let me look.
Okay,
In
so
this
you're
minute,
using
I'd like to pick up the snake and
enlarge
throw
or
it.
reduce.
I'm using enlarge reduce, so I'm going to reduce.
Okay, its size is halved in all dimensions, and its weight is
Yep.
reduced to 1/8 of its normal.
Perfect.
Decreases its size by one category, so like medium to small, etc. The creature is listed as... Let me take a look, because I wrote this creature from scratch. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this lasts for a minute.
It lasts for a minute. It's concentration. I grab the back end. Harris got the front end, and we're bolting it up the stairs.
I would
or
like
wherever.
to, before I'm asked to roll this inevitable strength check, I'd like to. It's the chaos of tides, tides of chaos.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is this is going to be a this is going to be like an event skill check. So we're going to have a couple. We're going to have a series of different checks as you guys attempt to make it out with this basilisk. And
A quick time event.
you guys both grab one end, Hera grabbing the head end and Pipra with the tail end of this now reduced in size corpse of this basilisk, slightly mutilated. And with that, the first thing I'll need both of you guys to do is to make a strength check as you try and secure the grip on this creature and begin your sprint out of the cavern here.
What's your strength modifier, Pipra?
-1.
Mine is +2, and I'm rolling with advantage anyhow. Does the advantage stack?
In this case, it would be you're both making the check regardless of like, this isn't like
okay.
assistance where you get to choose. This is like, you're both going to make every check.
Okay, perfect. Mine's a 19.
Okay.
4.
Okay. All right. So as you guys pick up the basilisk, Hera is able to get a really good grip around the neck where the head starts to kind of get wider. Really good grip, and you're able to kind of pick up the slack a little bit to where Pipra's fumbling a little bit with the slippery tail end, and you guys are able to get to a walking, then jogging, and then fast-paced jog as you retrace your steps through the cave. And through the darkness, you are trying your best not to hit the stray rock or to run into the sudden jut out of the wall of the cavern. You're trying not to stir up what nearby monstrosities and creatures might be lingering as you try your best to hold on to this creature and make it to the end before the time expires. I need both of you guys to make either an acrobatics or athletics check. You get to each choose.
Oh,
Acrobatics. I have +4.
athletics. And I'm rolling at disadvantage this time.
Yep.
Goodness gracious me. 7.
Okay.
13.
Which one was yours, Pipra? Acrobatics or athletics?
Acrobatics.
Okay. All right. In this instance, as you guys are running through the dark and sprinting from cavern to cavern, from hallway to hallway, retracing your steps, Pipra, you almost find yourself tripping up on Hera herself as Hera starts to stumble a little bit and lose the grasp ever so slightly at just hitting a bad step in the ground, a little divot, and kind of twisting the ankle a little bit. You are, for now, able to shrug it off, and with Pipra's help, you guys are able to continue going. And as you feel as though you are getting both closer to the end of the cavern and starting to get a little bit lower on time, I need both of you guys to go ahead and roll a just general dexterity check.
Okay, general dexterity. I'd like to do mine with chaos tides again.
Okay.
I wish I had some chaos tides. I have chosen a different dice for each of these rolls, and they have all been terrible.
20, dirty.
Okay.
6.
Okay. You guys are able to find the big cavern in which you entered. You're able to sprint your way up the incline that leads back up into the cellar of the manor. And upon going uphill, Hera, you're able to kind of pick up a little bit of the slack, regaining your good grip that you had before, whereas Pipra's starting to fumble a little bit with the end of the snake once more. And by the time you guys get into the cellar, where at this point, much of the wine on the ground has kind of seeped down into the caverns and is, for the most part, dry with like some splotchy, you know, like little puddles and stuff. As you guys get in there with all the broken shelves and bottles, it is at that point that I need both of you to make a dex save.
Oh,
As
no.
the creature's effect wears off and suddenly enlarges.
3.
Okay?
The trend continues. That is a 7.
Okay. You guys...
I pulled out another different dice and still rolled low.
Okay,
Do I hear the sudden just
you wouldn't hear
boom
this
of
from the front of the manor, like up a floor all the way at the front. You wouldn't hear it yet. You guys take 3 points, fortunately only 3, of bludgeoning damage, as the creature is now enlarged back to its original state, and now sitting atop the broken shelves and bottles of the cellar, but out of the cavern.
Hey,
Yo, we
got
have a
progress.
snake now.
We have a snake. All right, now I go long rest.
I'd like to long rest as well.
Are you just gonna long rest in there and just leave Sam up top at the front door?
Oh no,
No, we go join
I'd like to
him.
come and join Sam.
Okay,
With the snake
okay.
now
Oh,
in the mansion.
You didn't
Yeah.
specify. I'm just making sure. Okay, so you guys make your way back up to Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. I would
We're dripping with sweat.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
all kinds of like covered in slime.
probably out of
from
breath.
this- Yep, out of breath, nasty looking, dirty, and we just biggest smiles on our faces as you see us
We
come
got
up
the
from
snake.
the cellar.
incredible.
Ah,
At this point, the sun is almost completely set. Last bits of light are starting to fade.
yeah, I'm tuckered out. I think I'm gonna go and sleep.
Yeah.
I bet the snake would make a good pillow.
No doubt.
Sam is
On
just
this
a
bed
loss
of
for words.
broken shelves.
hmm Anyway, I think we're all taking a long rest. Do we need to? Do we feel secure here, or do we need to? Does someone need to stay guard?
I'm sure we can arrange a shift for it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so what's the game plan? Are the statues of your compatriots staying at the front of the manor? Right now you have them like right outside the front door on like the little entryway on the exterior. Are you leaving them there? Are you bringing them in?
Yeah, I think that's fine to just leave them out there.
Okay.
I
Or-
was gonna say
or-
we can put them just inside.
Yeah.
Gulan and Ocean
blocking the
will remember
door,
that.
So they are doorstop.
You wake up, it's
You're-
pouring
you're-
rain.
They're
I
stone.
wouldn't leave 'em
Do you know how long it
outside.
takes for
they
stone
they
to...
have bird poop all over them.
They're about to have
Again,
a
they're,
trap
they're,
zone before
they're
they sit on their
stone.
head.
Yeah, they are stoned.
Hear me out. I came up with a better plan.
Okay.
Okay.
They're flanking each side of the door, and the rug of tripping is between them.
Perfect. I forgot about the rug of tripping. Oh, I need that thing.
The rug is no longer there.
No!
How dare you do this to us?
You left it on the outside
I-
at the front door.
Can I investigate just to see if there's any?
Go
No,
for it.
I'm invested in this. I want to see if there's any footprints.
Make an investigation check.
All right, I'm on this. This is gonna be
It sounds
tides
like-
again.
Anything we leave in the
invested.
front yard gets stolen. It's like where I grew up.
It was a 10.
Unfortunately, the most you can gather is that it's likely that it was nabbed as a result of one being an abandoned building that nobody currently resides in, and two being in a part of the city where there's less guard and law keeping going on.
And yet it's a mansion. Oh well. I'm going to mentally hold a grudge against whoever now has my rug, and
We should definitely not leave them outside, though.
definitely
No.
not leaving them outside after that.
Okay, so you bring them just to the inside. Where are you guys looking to rest for the evening?
Somewhere near the statues.
Yeah.
All right.
I would go so far as to find any like loose bottles laying around and stack them up by the front door, so if anyone opens it, they knock them over.
Oh,
Okay.
clever.
Okay, easy enough.
So I'm going to kind of prep the place nearby us so that if anything moves, we hear a noise.
Mm-hmm. As a refresher, just beyond the front door, you have the long hallway, which had the carpet trap where the chandelier fell. Chandelier's still on the ground. From entering the main door to the left, there is like a foyer with an open door. And then a little bit up to the right, there are the double closed doors that you guys have not yet entered. And then a little further up the way and to the left, there was a kitchen area. Beyond that, you have the staircase that go upstairs, and then other places you've been, the big dining hall, that kind of stuff. So you've got 3 different rooms along this hallway if you were looking to stay next to the front door.
Yeah, I'll probably just pick somewhere that I can find a comfy spot around there. There's like a bench in the dining hall or something.
So the dining hall at the end of the hallway?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Set up my own kind of traps to alert us if anyone disturbs our resting.
Okay. Is this
We
with
plan to kind
more
of take shifts.
bottles or...
Yeah, like bottles, whatever I can find. I will reset traps if necessary.
Okay. All right. And
Such a good gift.
are you guys, you have somebody staying watch or...
Yeah, we're taking turns.
Okay, so we'll say all 3 of you will take turns at different points. Who is taking first watch?
I can start.
Okay. Second
Take
watch?
Second.
Okay.
I'll go third.
Okay. All right. So, as you guys set up for the evening, and Pipra lays all these traps just for some extra security from potentially unwanted forces. Sam, you stay up and begin your first watch as the last bits of light fade from the sky and the moonlight takes over the night sky. The distant bustling noises of the city of Nautabu die down, and the faint light that emits from various buildings and street lamps takes over. You begin your watch, and make a perception check.
All of us?
Just Sam.
Okay.
Ooh, that is unnatural 20.
Okay. Right. All right. Give me 2 seconds here. As you are in the midst of your watch, you begin to hear ever so faint a sort of scraping sound, I guess would be as close as I could put it. Distant. At first, quiet, and you're unsure if it's in the building, if it's above, below, if it's outside, if it's just some loud noise from a far distance that you're just picking up on. And it remains at that level for a good little bit. Just this low, sort of hard to pinpoint sort of scraping that's not constant, but not infrequent. And at that, after a little bit, it starts to pick up a little bit. And then as it's kind of increasing in volume and feeling a little clearer, it just stops. And then it goes silent for a moment that turns into a minute. 2 minutes, 5 minutes pass, and it's back to the eerie night silences before. And you could swear that at just a mere glance towards one of the windows where they're boarded over because you're on the bottom floor, through one of the little slits between the boards, you could see a shadowy form dart past where there is a distant light, and you see that light just cut out for a second. But you're unsure. You just really feel like that was not something that your brain made up. The eerie silence continues. And you have a choice in front of you. You could continue to sit there, you could investigate more, or potentially something else. What would you like to do?
So Sam is a very curious person.
Oh.
On the other hand, he's currently extremely, and I mean extremely, exhausted and how shall I put this? He's feeling like he has no spell slots left. Uh, um, but I think that Sam is gonna try, and I do mean try, to be extremely stealthy
Mm-hmm.
while trying to get closer to or look around the first floor
Okay.
to see if he sees something different at all.
Okay. So inside of the building, just kind of walking around.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any source of light on you, or is this in the dark?
As a paladin, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Sam has a torch.
Okay.
I think he's gonna light that.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Ooh, disadvantage. Love to see it.
Yep.
Okay. That's a 5.
Okay. Right. As you begin your curious looking around, you light the torch. Which direction from the dining hall do you begin your search? Back down the main hall, or towards the cellar, or away from the cellar? We have 3 directions from the dining hall.
I think Sam first goes to check on the statues themselves, and then very carefully goes towards the cellar.
Okay. The statues seem as they were left. And as
Good.
you begin making your way towards the door that takes you down the hallway to the cellar, both Pippa and Hera, you guys will be slightly awoken, not in a jarring sense, but you will you'll pick up on some faint noises as you can glance over and see Sam is entering the hallway that heads towards the cellar. And it is the dead of night at the moment.
Sam. Psst. Sam. I can
Can I-
hear your armor clinking.
Can I hear this faint whispering?
Yeah, with your perception check, yeah.
Sam.
I'm trying to be sneaky. I thought I heard something, and it just continues, just blinded by the assumed gift of knowledge.
I would like to sneakily follow Sam, like not sneakily from Sam, but
Mm-hmm.
stealthily follow in Sam's footsteps. I'd like to get up bleary-eyed and go, okay, we're going hunting together, let's go.
Okay.
Pippa would desperately like her spell slots back, but will like vaguely like wave and cast light on something for them, but stay.
I have 4 solid shots left. One
Okay.
of them's a 3rd level one.
All right, Hera, I will need you also to roll a stealth check.
Stealth. 6.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So you guys
Oh
are
my word.
making your way towards the cellar?
Yep.
They begrudgingly turn over because they're being so loud.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna
So-
find a zombie basilisk or something. I know it.
Oh
Uh,
no.
You find yourself in the hallway that leads all the way down, and the door that goes to the left and into the cellar. There are the multitude of doors between where you stand now and the cellar entry. Are you going directly to the cellar, or are you investigating any of these doors along the way? These are, of course, the rooms you investigated previously. On the right, you have the laundry room, the school room, the big home theater sort of room. On the left side, you have the sort of chapel room, religious slash meditating sort of area, and the dressing room as well.
Does it appear like any of the doors have been opened or like anything happened since we last saw them?
From what
if I remember that.
From what you can tell, everything seems to be as you would expect it. Nothing out of place or particularly eye-catching. Albeit, every inch of this place in the dead of night is far more haunting than you would have guessed.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Bets are about 5 to 1 on zombie basilisk. Do you want to make a wager?
Sure.
Okay. 5 gold says it is a zombie basilisk.
I'll take those bets. 5 gold says it isn't.
5 gold, okay. Deal. I'd like to continue on towards the cellar.
Okay. Are you leading the way?
Was I more stealthy than Sam in my role?
Yeah, technically.
No?
I would like to lead the way.
Okay. You guys are able to find your way towards the cellar, and as quietly as you are able to in the dead of night and in this somewhat paranoid and curious state, you feel like you're being fairly quiet, but time will tell.
Yep.
You step down into the cellar, and from the light
Before, or did we open the cellar door, or?
I'm assuming you guys just lasered there and you're about to head down.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you wanted to. Okay.
I wanted to like listen to on the before opening the door if I can hear anything coming from the cellar.
From the cellar in particular, and for that matter,
or like the room before the cellar.
Mm-hmm. From that room and from everything around you, it is eerie silence.
Okay.
Other than your own footsteps.
And armor.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So you head down into the cellar.
Yeah.
Half expecting to see the basilisk where you left it, half expecting to see it in a zombified state. It appears as though it's right as it was left. Limp and in a pile of broken wine racks.
I will hand Sam 5 gold.
It is at this point, while both of you are down there. Hera, go ahead and make a perception check. Your previous one, Sam, will stand.
20. Dirty.
Okay. Both of you, Hera for the first time, and Sam, you'll recognize this. That faint scraping again. But this time, it feels as though it's coming from above you. It doesn't feel particularly close. And it's this non-constant sort of scraping that will start and then kind of stop, eerie silence, and then it comes back and it stops again. And this is the same noise that you heard previously, Sam, but Hera, this will be the first time you'll be hearing it.
Does it sound like stone?
Does it what?
Does it sound like stone, like a roughly, I don't know, 70 to 90 kilogram stone object is being dragged?
It sounds more so like if you're dragging a wardrobe across a wooden floor. That kind of scraping. It's kind of like a wood on wood.
And is it directly above us?
You're unsure as to where exactly, other than up. Faintly. In that direction.
Roger, removing the direction of up, I'd like to cast fire level. No.
Oh, I bet it's like the theater or something. One place we didn't check. That there it is again. That's the sound I heard.
Huh. Good ears. I would have missed that. I certainly would have assumed it was the basilisk.
Why do you think we're here at the cellar?
Well, fair enough. I'm gonna listen to it for a bit. Just
It continues for a couple of moments. And then all of a sudden, at one of the times where it cuts out, it doesn't return. Eerie silence again.
okay. Do you think there is a particularly strong ghost up there?
I think that no matter what it is, if it's hostile, which judging by this house, I'm not in any shape to face it head on.
I have 4 good shots, one of which could potentially knock it out in a oneer. That being the case, however, I don't think I would like to go in there without any backup.
Hmm.
What do you say we slowly retreat back to the beds and just keep an eye on it, and unless it attacks us, stay very still. And of course, if it does appear, then wake me up immediately and my first words will be Ignis, and oh, well.
Now that you say it, I think this guard it's almost your guard.
I think that'll be
Harris
about
is
right.
up last.
Oh,
Pippa's
fair
is
enough.
next.
Okay, let's go and wake up Pipper, I guess.
Okay.
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
So you decide to return to rest and with a watchful eye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys are able to make your way back. And
And once again, tucking myself in.
okay. You awaken Pipra for the next watch.
Yep.
Is there anything in particular exchanged or just passing of the watch?
Just a mention of be careful. We heard some scraping noises that we are not entirely sure what they are. Also, before going to bed, I mumbled something about the thing I was unsure if I saw outside the window. Just yeah, not really helpful stuff. Just keep an eye out.
All right. Will do.
Okay. So Pipra, as you begin your watch, and as the other two drift off into a sleep, the eeriness of the surrounding start to settle in. Dark room and exterior of the building with only a very faint, warm yellowish light appearing off in the distance from various roadside lanterns and house interiors. A silence that is almost maddening surrounds you. And at one point in your watch, after about an hour or so, You start to hear a faint scratching noise. Scraping. Scratching?
Am I long rested?
Not yet.
Okay.
You're unsure. It's more of a scraping or a scratching. And then at one point, it almost feels like a very faint, like a knocking, or like the occasional thump against some wooden object in between the faint scratching, scraping noises that are scattered and occasional at first, but slowly pick up a little bit. Not to a frantic pace, but an unsettling amount that at first is quite quiet and distant, but feels like it's drawing nearer, feels like it's getting closer, but it's not in an obvious way, and you're not 100% sure if it is, or if your mind's playing tricks on you.
Considering my special
Mm-hmm.
featsies,
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
nothing within the area, I would like to stealthily creep around and see if I can determine where it's coming from.
Okay. So are you just kind of
with
walking
my
around
feetsies.
this room and trying to pick up on stuff?
I will move in whatever direction I feel is closer to the sound.
Okay.
Just feeling and sensing to figure out where it's coming from.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for your other senses.
8. I can't roll well today.
Okay.
My passive is 15.
Your passive is what
Passive
cued you in
investigation is 18.
to these noises. Yep. So as you're walking around the room and trying to pick up on anything in particular, you can't spot anything with your eyes per se. Listening into the noises, it's too hard to distinguish a direct path or route it might be coming from. But after a while of trying your best to cue in as to what's going on and where it's coming from, the noises stop, like very abruptly. They just kind of stop. And at that silence that starts to settle in again, almost too quiet, you ever so faintly pick up on something through the vibrations that hit your feet from the hallway opposite of the cellar hallway. And it, at this point, feels like it's right on the other side of the door. You are, at this point, somewhat centrally located in the room. And you're unsure of what could be on the other side of the door, but a small blip, ever so slight, was picked up, and then it's either gone or it's stopped moving.
Is this the door that we haven't checked?
Correct.
Okay.
The little blip you got was directly on the other side of the door.
I would like to place bottles outside of the door.
Bottles on your side?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you moving them from one of the other doors?
I guess.
Okay. Which door would you like to take those bottles from? The main hallway
Which doors?
or the cellar hallway?
Cellar.
Okay. So you move the bottles to the opposite side. While you're over there, placing those bottles and setting it so that you might hear if anything were to attempt to enter. The scraping noise picks up. But this time, it's only a little bit. And it's very close. And you also sense something through your feet. 2, 3 feet away. Opposite of the door. In tandem with the scraping noise that you hear. Doesn't move towards. Doesn't move away. Just sort of lingers, albeit not still. Almost as if reacting. The scraping isn't accompanied by anything else that you can make out, whether it be speaking or breathing or armor. All you can hear is this unsettling scraping along wood that is now clearer than you've heard it previously.
I make my way back to the room and just continue my watch.
Okay. Your watch continues. And would you say that you are watching from a somewhat central part of the room, or a certain side, or?
I would be placed to help compensate for the bottles that I moved. To
Okay.
keep an eye on that hall.
So you are facing that hall?
Yeah.
Or next to that hall?
Facing it.
Okay. From the opposite wall, or from somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. I don't want to be too close to any wall, just kind of central, but watching the direction that I took stuff away from, because I have stuff placed in the other places, so I just want to compensate.
Right. You continue your watch and maintain your focus simultaneously on the doorway in front of you that remains closed and bottleless, and through the senses in your feet everywhere else beyond, within a certain range. Everything is still, everything is quiet for 10 minutes that turns into 30. And at this point, you've settled down for the most part and are just passing the time before, in a fraction of a second, you pick up on the movement behind you, behind the door. In a fraction of a second, it's there, and then it's out of range. You hear the scraping along the wood as it goes from feeling right on top of you to somewhat fading out. You still hear it occasionally, not constant, but the scraping noise will start up again, distant, and not close enough for you to pick up on anything through the vibrations in the ground, and then it'll stop. And it'll pick up again for a second or two, then it'll stop. And it'll continue like that, as at some points it gets more distant, and at some points it draws closer. And at some points it almost feels like it's above you, but then it's not. All the while, the bottles are all fine. Door ahead of you remains untouched. The lights outside of the windows, well, what did happen to the lights outside of the windows? It's darker than you remember it. Curious. The scraping continues. Lets up. Continues some more. Lets up again. Lights on the outside are gone. The scraping stops. And in that eerie, dead silence, ever so faintly, the sounds of a very, very, very light breeze pick up. From where? No idea. But ever so faint, the sounds of air just kind of coursing through at a pace unlike the stillness that was enveloping the room previously.
I hate this house.
And it remains like that as you continue your watch until it reaches a point where you feel as though your watch is coming to an end.
I go to wake up Hera.
As you do that, go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
No.
Unrelated to waking up Hera, just make a wisdom saving throw.
Can I roll well today? No, I can't. 11.
11.
Oh, it's with a +5, by the way.
Okay. Towards the end of your watch, you begin to experience the effects of being frightened. The eeriness of your surroundings, the strange noises, and the paranoia have seeped in. And as you go to awaken Hera, you are shaking slightly. Eyes kind of darting around. Somewhat accelerated breathing, just really unsettled.
Pipra, what bothers you?
Do you notice the lights?
It does seem darker than normal. Are the street lights out?
They're gone. And the scraping continues. Though I know where it is from. And I'll explain the bottles that I put in front of the door and where it's coming from, per se.
Okay.
It was wise to put the bottles there. I'll keep a good eye out. I've got 2 good ones.
If I hear a lot of thunder, I'll know something happened.
I'm sure it won't be the only clue that something's happened. You can rest now. I've got this.
I hope I can rest after that. I will attempt to go back to sleep.
Where?
Oh, shoot.
Is there any specific things you do at the beginning of your watch, Hera?
The first thing I'd like to do is investigate those lights. I want to peek through the cracks of the window and see if I can't see any of the lights.
Okay. So at the beginning of your watch, you approach the windows. 2 of them, and fairly large, considering there's only 2 in this large dining hall. Both boarded over. Do you decide to approach the left one or the right one?
I'll approach the right.
Okay. You attempt to peer out through the breaks in the boards, the gaps between, and where once you swear you could have seen distant torchlight or candlelight or what have you, various warm lights of the city in the distance. There is nothing. And as a matter of fact, you can only really see through the very, very faint moonlight a couple of feet, maybe, of the surrounding yard. You can't even see the walled perimeter of the lot that the manor sits on. The barred wall that surrounds the entire building at this point is not visible, as if a strange sort of fog has set in, narrowing the visibility to almost completely nothing.
Oh, good. Whatever's coming to get us won't see me coming. And nothing seems visually unusual about the internal space that we find ourselves in.
Of the room you're in, no. From what you can see, everything is as normal as it can be for an abandoned and seemingly strange, potentially haunted place.
I'd like to stand upright, propping myself up in one arm
Mhm.
with my staff in the center of the room and just keep my guard like that until I hear anything off.
And this is next to the window?
This is in the center of the room if I can.
Okay. Alright. It doesn't take long for the scraping noise to return.
And whereabouts is it originating from now?
Go ahead and make another perception check.
Perception. 6. It's not fantastic.
It almost sounds like it's coming from the door that Pippa told you about. No, It's kind of like it's down the main hall. Or is it above you? No, it's the main hall. Kind of sounds like it's coming from the cellar side. Every time the scraping picks up, it's almost like it's in a different spot. In a matter of mere moments between the scraping picking up, going away, and coming back, it's almost like it's in a different spot. A completely different spot. Direction.
If I focus towards the original door, the one where the bottles were lined up when it was on Pipra's watch, and I shoot towards it a message spell, is there anything on the receiving end?
What do you say?
I don't know what you are, ghost, but you should haunt the cellar for proof that I've killed far worse than you. Keep it down, my friends are sleeping.
Okay.
And if I can, I'd like to add an intimidation to that.
Your spell is sent off, of which you are sure.
Oh.
Doesn't seem to find any purchase.
Okay.
But the scraping continues. Eerily in one direction, and in another. And at some points, gets louder, closer. At some points gets further. And it continues like this for 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, near half an hour. And then you're quite startled. Because when the scraping picks up during one of these instances, you hear a sound that can only be compared to a plank of wood snapping. Somewhat distant, close enough that you can make that much out. Seems like it's on the same floor. Definitely on the inside of the building. Kind of a mix between the main hall direction and the unchecked, uninvestigated mystery hallway. Kind of off on a diagonal. When the board snaps, or when that sound startles you, gets your attention, the scraping stops. And it picks up again. And another seeming snap of a plank of wood. And the scraping stops again. A third time. Before everything goes quiet. For longer than it has been. Full minute goes by. Not a sound.
I'm readying my staff just in case I need to cast something in an emergency.
Okay. After this moment of silence, you hear a distant noise from the main hall. And it sounds a lot like glass shattering.
The main hall would be visible to me if I went towards a corridor.
The door is closed with bottles in front of it.
Okay.
It's not those bottles, from what you can tell. But it's from that direction.
Are the statues okay?
Yeah, statues seem fine.
Okay. And all the bottles that Pipra set up, both sets of them, all okay?
The 2 sets that are in this room seem okay. But there was
I
a
want to
third
make
set
my way
at the front
towards
door.
that third set, towards the front door, very carefully and very quietly.
Okay, you would have to go over the bottles at the hallway door, the main hallway door.
Am I able to keep visual on the party as I make my way all the way there, or do they become out of view at any point?
From the main room, you can get all the way to the door that's closed that leads to the main hall and still be turned around facing everyone. And you could still make them out. But as you get further away, because it's so dark, it gets a little harder. Once you go through the door, you could continue looking backwards at the party, but the noise came from the opposite direction. So if you're looking towards the noise, you won't be seeing the party. Once you go through the door, if you go through the door.
I'd
no.
like to just stay with the party.
Okay.
Knowing the direction is enough, and I'd like to turn my full focus towards the only avenues of approach.
Meaning the door of the direction it came from, or the door without bottles? Or just all of them?
The whole way, I'm ready to remove that direction.
Okay, and you're staying in the room?
I'm staying with the party.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, if I get attacked over there, I'm dead and alone.
Okay.
This way, I'm dead and with a couple of statues.
Okay. So you continue your watch from inside the room. And eventually the scraping picks up again. Distant, sometimes closer. And at one point, you could swear that you see what appears to be a little bit of like a puff of dust, like when dust is suddenly kicked up, that just kind of like it's not a lot, just a little bit, just faintly kicks up before kind of settling down nearby to the door that leads to the main hall. And that's during one of the instances of scraping. When that happens, you notice that Pipra shoots awake. Pipra, you feel a similar, familiar sensation as something lies, at least for a split second, on the opposite side, this time of the main hall door. Like it was there, and you felt it, and you woke up. But it's gone, or it's not moving, and you're unsure. You see
Am I
that...
long rested yet?
Not yet. You'll see that Hera is glaring in that direction.
Would I be long rested?
You would... Yes, because you are on final watch.
Oh, fantastic. This gives me a little bit of playroom. I'm going to gesture to Pipra. I'm going to go. And point towards the door and message spell to Pipra. I think the glass at the front is broken. I'm keeping a very close eye on the avenues of approach. I have 3 fireballs ready. I'm sure that's enough of an alarm clock.
I was muted. Pipra, do you reply and do anything?
I will stay silent. I reply, that'll do.
Okay. Do you continue to try and get rest?
Keep an eye out.
You saying...
I am alert currently. and I will help keep watch.
Okay.
If you'd like to get some rest and restore your spells, I'm sure the fireballs will wake you up.
If you are sure.
As sure as I can be.
Fine, then I will go back to sleep.
I've got a particular eye on this door now.
Okay. As you're attempting to fall back asleep, Pipra, a couple minutes go by, and right as you're on the cusp, where you're not quite asleep, but you're not really conscious either, and you're just kind of in this weird drifting state, your attention is caught again as that blip appears, and just as fast as it does, it's gone again. But the scraping picks up. And then there's nothing in range, but the scraping continues. You're able to eventually fall back asleep if you're continuing to try to do so.
Yeah.
And after a little bit,
I-
Hera, what's up?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. After a little bit, Hera, you hear the now familiar sound of a snapping of wood. Distant again. Scraping is on and off. And again, snapping of wood. Some more scraping. Some of it's almost starting to sound more like scratching. Like nails along a wooden surface, but long and sharp nails. Not pleasant on the ears, but not particularly loud. And before too
Well,
long...
if it's those creatures,
Yeah?
I know I can fry those.
Okay. Before too long, the scraping starts to feel more like it's coming from the direction of the cellar. As each scraping noise kind of picks up and then settles down, it begins to feel more like it's circling around. Like it's slowly making its way from one door to the next, before you're almost certain it's in the direction of the cellar. Scraping picks up a little bit. You hear the snapping of wood, the breaking of wood. Picks up again. And then, unexpectedly, the scraping picks up, but it doesn't stop. And it continues for a moment. That turns into a couple moments. It's twice as long as normal, 3 times as long. A constant scraping for 10 seconds, 12 seconds. It's drawing nearer. And then, right as it stops, the glass bottles in front of the door to the cellar come crashing down. They don't shatter, but you hear the sound of empty bottles kind of falling a short distance and rolling around the ground. This wakes you up, Pipra.
Oh.
On my long
The
rest.
door
Yeah.
is still shut. But you get the impression that those bottles didn't fall on their own.
Once again, message spell to Pipra. I get the impression that doors aren't going to stop whatever's making this noise.
I don't think so either.
While you guys are having this back and forth, Pipra, you sense through your feet that familiar, lingering presence. Like, it's not drawing closer, it's not moving further away, but it's ever so faintly moving in the same spot. Like, it's just lingering. It's just there, as if it's waiting.
Is it in the room with us?
Is on the other side of the door. You would know.
Of which door?
The one towards the cellar now.
We've
Am I
been
long
through that door
rested?
before, haven't we?
Yep. It is at this point. Yeah, both of you would know. It is at this point been to all 3 doors, and right now it's on the cellar door.
And we've been through that one. Okay. So, and not the door to the cellar, but the door that leads to the room to the cellar, right? Or
Yep. This is to the hallway that'll take you down towards the cellar.
perfect. Pipra, is it still there?
I relay whatever information DM tells me. I assume it's still there.
Okay. Currently lingering.
I want to approach the door with sickening touch prepared.
Okay.
I follow suit with
Okay. Is this a walk, a careful tiptoe, a
Very
jog?
careful tiptoe.
Okay.
same. I'm
Okay.
being very stealthy.
Do you
I have
leave Sam
reaching
asleep?
vines prepared.
Sam's asleep, yeah.
Okay.
If I can finish this without any noise, then I will.
Shoot.
Okay. Just do a thing here.
Am I long rested or not? Because this is driving me nuts. I want to fireball it so bad, but I don't have the spell slot. It's been so annoying. It's just like my cat whenever I'm trying to sleep. Scratching the underside of the bed. That had to be the inspiration for this.
I'm gonna fireball the cat. Oh no.
Shit. Bro, she's relentless in the night.
As you guys approach the door and ready yourselves, the scraping noise picks up. And for the first moment that you hear it, it is closer than either of you have heard it up to this point. It is right there.
Is it rhythmic?
It is like a constant. It doesn't pulsate. It doesn't have any like alterations in the pitch or anything. It is like a sort of wood on wood scrape that is just a constant for about a second or a second and a half, and then it stops. That's how it's been all night. And in this instance, you hear it, and it is right there. And in a moment, it is like it is now on the other side of the building. Pipra, in this moment, you sense it go from almost within arm's reach of you guys, just through the door, to the edge of your range and beyond, and faster than you can process.
Bro, we're fighting an Enderman.
This movement that is there, and in the blink of an eye, completely out of your range. But for the first time, given how close you are, you can sense how quickly it gets out of range, and that scraping on and off as it, again, on and off in these few moments, the sound of wood snapping again. This is the first time you're hearing it, Pipra. Distant.
I'm leaving an open channel with my message to Pipra, and I'm going, Pippa, the moment you hear it within arm's length, tell me where, and I'll end this.
Okay.
Couple moments go by. Scraping is distant, moving on and off occasionally. Snapping of wood. Distant somewhere. Are you guys still at the same door? Just waiting?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stay with Hera.
Okay.
I hate them.
Both of your attention is immediately directed towards the main hall door. The bottles tumble down. Scraping stops. The door is closed. And just like with this door, they don't shatter. The door is not open. But you heard the bottles tumble down. Sam, you're awoken by the bottles tumbling down
Oh no,
at the main hallway door.
not the whiskey.
Not the whiskey.
You can glance around and see a very alert Pippa and Hera at the doorway that heads towards the cellar.
Do I sense
What
anything?
what happened?
I'm looping Sam into our message channel.
That door, by the way, Pipra, from where you are now, would be just out of range. So you wouldn't have felt anything through your feet.
I'd like to, in the space of as quick as possible, mentally fill Sam in on everything that's just happened.
I will creep slightly closer to the noise of the bottles falling.
Okay. As you draw closer, you are able to see the bottles disturbed, no longer stacked against the door. None of them broken, just as they fell, some rolled off to the side, no longer in the assortment that they were. You see that dust has been kicked up, and the scraping noise has ceased, but as you draw closer to the door, you hear a faint scratching noise. Scratching on wood. It's quieter than the scraping. You've heard the scratching before, but it's usually accompanied by the scraping. That scratching is just lingering, just on the other side of the
I
door.
have the feeling the scratching, rather than the scraping, might be one of those creatures we faced before. The scraping, given how fast it is, I'm unsure about.
On the other side of the door, you don't currently sense any movement, but you can faintly hear on the other side of the door the sound of a light breeze breaking the stillness. Faint enough that very hard to pick out, and you only can because of your passive perception. But on the other side of the door, like there's a flow of air that wasn't previously there.
Bro, we got termite Enderman.
That is something.
Enderman.
No.
The instant I sense the scraping again,
Mm-hmm.
if it's beyond the door or anywhere within my range, I'm casting let me pull reaching vines.
Okay.
If it's in 30 feet.
Okay.
And then I'd signal Hera.
Understood. I'll follow it up.
If it's beyond the door, I'm kicking the door open.
As am I.
It disturbed my slumber one too many times. I'm
Okay.
grumpy in the mornings.
I told it as much. Warned it even.
As you prep this, a couple of moments of this silence, only interrupted by the slight breeze and the scratching, is altered as the scratching stops. The breeze remains. A moment goes by. Before in an instant, both the scraping noise picks up again, and you feel through your senses whatever's on the other side of this door begin to just linger like it did before. Not move away, not move towards, but just kind of linger in this position. Now moving enough that you can
Right on the other end?
sense the vibrations. Right on the other side of the door.
I want to open the door and immediately grasp for whatever I can.
Okay? What are you doing?
I would cast
Pepper?
Reaching Vines as soon as
Okay.
I see whatever it is.
Once the door is open?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one of you is opening the door?
I am.
Okay, Sam, go on.
Sam, out of nowhere, beats
Okay.
Hera to the door.
Yep. I can open the door.
Okay.
Okay. The doors open outwards. It's double doors. Which door do you open? Both at the same time? The one on the right, the
No,
one on the left?
I learned this before. I got hit by just a blunt object and thrown down the staircase. I'll open first the left door and then the right door separately.
Okay.
Carefully.
So slowly opening it or quickly?
Yep, slowly. Yep, slowly. I might get attacked, but who cares?
Okay. As you slowly open the left door, very cautiously and carefully, what is complete darkness at first is slowly interrupted. You'll see this first and the other two a moment later. As you open it, a ghostly, pale, almost pure white humanoid arm, left hand up into an arm, as you open the door further, continues up until you see more of the figure, still, completely still. At this point, you see the entire right arm up to the shoulder. Do you keep opening it?
If I can
It is-
will.
It is not so much as flinched, but it is standing there in the darkness, and it is facing you.
I would. Do I see it at this point?
You guys can all see through the door partially being open.
Sam, do you want to do anything right now?
I think I'm gonna close it.
You're gonna close it?
Oh,
I
you say-
don't know.
Do you say that, or do you actually close it?
I will just take a step back from the door.
Mhm.
Just look at the other two.
I'd like to keep my eyes on this thing and send out my own. I'm dropping the message channel currently
Mhm.
and sending out a new one towards the entity,
What do you say?
just as direct as I can. What are you?
As you send this message, you feel as though it doesn't have any purchase like before,
Oh,
and you almost feel this very, very faint, what can only be compared to like a static in the back of your mind,
this is an Enderman.
and that's
This is
all you can sense in your mind. And then it kind of fades once the spell is completely over, and it remains motionless. The door partially ajar.
Out loud this time. Vacate this place, or it will be the last place you ever see.
Remain still. No response. You guys open the
I've
door
given it
further or
its
close
warning.
it?
Does anyone have any objections to me removing the entity?
Nope. Like I
Go
said, I
ahead.
wanted to use reaching vines to try and hold it still.
I'd like to
Basically.
remove the entity.
So you cast Reaching Vines on it?
Yeah.
Okay. The spell takes effect, and you see as vines sprout up through the floorboards and around the legs of the target, or you can assume you haven't opened the door enough to see it, but you see the vines reaching up through the crack in the door. You know the spell's taken effect. It remains motionless.
18.
Okay.
I want to reach out and grab the creature's arm.
It's also a dex save or it's restrained.
Yep. It is motionless.
Am I able to grab the creature's arm?
You are reaching through the doorway to grab its arm?
I am.
Okay. Its pale, motionless arm remains still. Upon grasping it, it is as cold as stone. Almost feels stone-like, but not quite. You don't feel a pulse. It doesn't
Sickening
feel like
touch,
skin.
second level,
Okay.
I think.
Alright. Do you
Okay.
roll that, or does the...
I do roll that, but I do have touch on it, so I'm just going to roll for the sake of rolling. It's
Okay.
going to be a 15.
Okay.
That is, at this level, 4d10 necrotic.
Okay. As you reach out and cast
31.
Sickening Touch, the spell takes hold. But this entity remains motionless and appears completely unaffected. And at grabbing this entity, you're able to see through just a little bit more, and you can see past the door just a little bit from the knee down, like a humanoid foot, a humanoid leg from the knee down, although mildly distorted, similar to the arm and the hand, a ghostly pale white, but it almost feels like it's from a different creature with the leg, almost as if it's more distorted the further down you go. At this point, you can only see the shoulder and the left arm and the bottom of the left leg, unless you open the door further. But it remains motionless, unmoving. And the scraping is completely stopped.
Sam just turns to others in the group. This has to be what's making the noise, right? But you said it's been like it's moving incredibly fast throughout the mansion. Why has it stopped when we actually get a good look at it? When we've actually been looking at it.
I don't know. I didn't like it.
I have a bad feeling about this.
There used to be tales, where I came from, of creatures that could only move when no one watched. That would move blisteringly fast. The moment you blinked, they'd have gained 10 paces on you. And I hate to say we'd be dealing with something like this, but have any of us taken our eyes off the thing?
No.
I don't think so.
Pitra, would you do me the honor of casting some light upon it?
I cast light on my staff.
Okay. Light on your staff.
I hold it up. Get a better look at the creature.
Are you opening the door to see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. As you slowly open the door the rest of the way, you see from the shoulder you had seen previously, as it exposes more of this creature, first in the torso, featureless, but humanoid, the same pale white that the further down you go, the more distorted and alien it seems to be, with just strange discolorations and features that are less and less humanoid, although remaining bipedal and with 2 arms. And you are taken aback as the head of this creature becomes known. You see as completely hairless, and at that point, featureless, this pale, ghostly white humanoid head with no ears or eyes or nose or brows or hair, but with a gaping, open jaw that lingers a foot and a half down, with just a void of darkness in the opening of this inhuman, gaping sort of open mouth that just stares back at you. The rest of the face featureless, and the entire entity just still, unmoving, just in position.
I don't get the impression we want to be around this thing anymore.
No.
Let me just make sure. I want to very quickly firebolt the thing from very close range. Just make sure. Keeping my eyes on the thing the whole time.
Okay. Firebolted and seems
So
to have
20
no
to
effect.
hit. Okay, I thought so. I don't think we can touch this thing. But I don't gather the same is true in reverse.
With the door fully
So-
open, you guys can notice that the entire floor of the hallway behind it is marked up and scuffed and scraped.
Well, considering it's been in this it's been in this room, but not the rest of the house. Maybe it doesn't know how to open doors. Hopefully.
I mean, we've
Well,
heard
if you want
scraping
to-
other places, so I think it's more so we just hadn't seen it.
I think we should very, very carefully leave this place. Immediately.
One important detail that I should mention is, having opened the door all the way and cast light, this creature stands a foot or so taller than Hera.
Uh,
Aye,
Worse.
aye, aye.
It towers over all of you.
it looms.
Oh boy. How long
Well,
rested? You never answered, did you?
The Kara's the only one who is for having slept through two watches.
I just want to
Good
make
times.
our statue friends small and bold.
Am I able to? I know this happened before, but it was in the old system. Am I able to donate my sorcery points to be able to substitute a spell slot for Pipra?
I would say no.
Okay.
Uh,
Big Sag.
Just one again, sorry. Where in the building are we currently?
You are at the doorway that opens up to the main hall that then in turn goes to the front doors of the building.
Okay. Hmm. It might be a bit risky, but what if two of us go and carry out our friends while the last one stands here and just keeps an eye on the creature?
That I could not agree with more. I'm happy to stare this thing down.
Good.
You
And
certainly
so
look
it will be.
stronger than I.
Yeah. Well,
Good, well.
I'll walk towards the door and just check outside. It's still dark, I assume.
Yeah. Pitch black out.
I feel like it's better than staying inside with that thing, but I don't know where else to go.
So is that your guys' plan?
Ooh. Before I do anything, I'd like to try and cast Restore Health on it.
Okay. Is that a touch-based spell?
It's a touch-based spell.
Okay.
I want to see if it has any effect whatsoever also.
Okay. So you reach out and I presume grab its arm like before?
Same point as before, yeah, just keeping my eye directly on the thing.
Okay. Similar
Channel the
to
magic.
with the harming spell, you're unsure. It doesn't seem like it changed anything. It remains unmoving and as it has been since you opened the door.
I'm going to keep looking at this thing.
Okay.
And let the others get on with their stuff and open a message channel to them while I'm at it.
Okay. How are you going about watching this? Are you close? Are you far? Are you straining your eyes to...
I want to take a few steps back,
Okay.
first of all, so that my back is to the opposite wall while still being able to see it.
Okay.
And imagining it is what I think it is, I'm going to look at it in such a way that I keep one eye on it for a while, open the other, and then close the other when I need to blink.
Okay. Are you looking at any particular point?
Directly where I imagine its eyes should be.
Okay. All right. Make a constitution check.
Okay.
whoa.
Check, not a save.
I'm going to go ahead and Tides of Chaos this.
Okay.
Okay. 19.
19. Okay. And Sam and Pipra, you are attempting to move the statues.
I think so. I can't think of anything better to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you roll a strength check.
I 11.
Unnatural 20 again.
Okay. All right.
I'm just good at carrying statues, I guess.
I have -1 strength.
Okay. And this is one at a time? Or both of
One
you?
at
Yeah.
a time.
One
Both
at a
of you
time.
one at a time? Okay. So you begin dragging the statues out. Which one do you begin with?
Let's go with Kulan first.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit smaller, so we don't waste our energy. Or I don't know. They might be the same weight.
Okay. So you guys begin with Kulan.
Mhm.
And as the first statue is moved towards the front of the manor, the plan seems to be going as intended. The looming horrific entity at the doorway is still as can be, unmoving, but nonetheless haunting and unsettling, especially in the pitch black of night. You're able to get Kulan to the front. You've returned to grab Ocean statue.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys begin dragging that statue, you get it to the hallway just past where the creature is. Hera, as you're watching this creature and alternating on your eyes, you begin to feel a very, very slight burning sensation
Oh no.
in the whichever eye you have open first, the left, and then as you alternate, it begins to creep up in the right. And although you're blinking, it creeps up and begins to just become a little more prominent. And a little harder to maintain. But they get the statue passed. And as
Messaging anyone else that can hear, I'm just going, someone look at this thing for 10 seconds.
at this
I'll
point,
back
you've got the
Yeah,
statue.
we'll put down the
Okay.
or I mean if we yeah.
You've got
we
the
got the
statue,
statue outside.
most of the way down the hallway. Not quite out yet.
Okay.
You begin to look back at it.
Is it light enough that I could carry it by myself if I strain myself enough?
You couldn't carry it. You could attempt to drag it at best.
Yeah, I'll continue dragging it in that case.
Okay. Go ahead and make another strength check.
Mhm. Oof. 7.
Okay. You attempt to carry on by yourself, but you're
No.
unable to really make any headway on your own with the statue.
Mm.
But you've got it most of the way, and all three of you now return your gaze to this
Yep.
entity.
I'm
And
gonna blink hard, refocus my eyes.
okay,
And whenever I'm rested again, I'm gonna continue doing what I was just doing.
okay. As you unfocus your gaze from the creature and begin blinking and just trying to recuperate your eyes, and the vision before you gets blurry and dark. We'll go ahead and take a break there and return in like 10 minutes.
Ah, fantastic.
I love SCP-096.
All right, we
Goodness.
will return in hopefully no more than 10 minutes, but
Okay.
bathroom break, snack break, walk break, whatever you got to do, and
Fantastic.
we'll carry on in a moment. Let me do this and I'll deafen, and then we'll carry on shortly. Okay, we are good to go. So, in this moment, Hera, you blink profusely to recharge your eyes as Kulan's statue, petrified form, is now just outside the manor, and the Lex of Ocean is most of the way there, while this unknown entity, pale and white in form, with confusing yet highly unsettling features and lack of features, remains just outside the door to the dining hall, now being watched by Pipra and Sam.
Mhm.
What do you all do?
The moment I'm able to again, I want to keep looking at the thing.
Okay.
The same way I was before, just to enable the other two to move around.
Okay. You can communicate to them?
Yeah, I want to communicate to them. I want to go. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I guess we go back to trying to lift Ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are able to cover the remaining distance as before, with the two of you dragging along. No additional checks needed for that. And you get Ocean just outside, next to where you got Kulan.
Mhm.
What do you do?
As Sam goes inside, he thinks of something. So, from what we can tell, this creature, this entity, only moves when it's not being observed.
From what you know so far, since you discovered it by opening the door, it hasn't moved once.
What if we got it to, in a way, observe itself?
I did attempt to restrain it. Whether that worked or not, we don't know yet.
For what it's
That's
worth, you
also true.
can see that the reaching vines, let me see if it has like a, oh, it's up to a minute. Okay, so you would have seen during that minute that it was in effect, that the vines did sprout through the floorboards. Like, you can see the remnants of the floorboards being messed up, not just by all of the scrapes and scuffs, but from underneath as well. Nah, they've returned at this point because it's been more than a minute, but
Mm-hmm. Do we actually want to test our theory that it's...
Oh.
Oh,
call got scuffed. We lost
no.
Hera,
oh no.
and now Vation is scuffed on
Vation
screen.
is... Vation is in the in-between.
Oh no. Oh. Pause. Should fix itself in a second. There we go. Oh.
Makeshift while I try and get my PC to work again. Hello.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, heck.
Yeah, that bad.
All right. So you were saying, Sam?
Is there any way? Could we find like a mirror of some sort in the mansion?
Is that to the group that you're posing that question, or
Both?
you
Do
can
I
certainly
remember
try.
any mirror in the mansion also?
You remember that there were ample bedrooms that could be worth checking.
I turn to Hera and Pipra and will you stay here while I search for a mirror? I have an idea that might just save us.
Of course, that sounds good.
I will quickly run through the mansion, looking if I can find a semi-clear mirror somewhere.
Okay, are you doing this on the bottom floor, or are you going upstairs?
I'm going upstairs because that's where I remember the most bedrooms being, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
That is a... where did I... that is a 19.
Okay. It takes you a couple of attempts going through different bedrooms, and from what you can find, most of the glass has either been ruined beyond its initial function, any glass objects and or mirrors, but you are able to eventually locate a smaller mirror, one that you can like pick up and take with you, probably no bigger than like an average computer monitor in size for comparison, but you're able to find one.
Can I also grab like a some loose planks or whatnot to bring with me? Yep. Time to do some engineering.
Okay.
Once I'm back with the others, I will try to put together some kind of. I will lean the planks towards the wall opposite the entity, and then try to balance the mirror on top of it, as so where the creature's eyes should be is roughly in line with the mirror.
Okay.
I have no clue if this works, but I have also no clue what this entity is. So
it doesn't take long as you go to set up this contraption before you realize that in looking in the mirror as you're positioning it, you don't see it behind you through the mirror.
Oh god, it's a vampire too.
Vampire Slenderman, perfect.
You turn and it's there physically.
It's still there. Oh god.
I'm going to continue observing the entity.
Okay.
Yeah, have you tried turning the mirror on and off? Off and on again. Like...
You could almost hear Ocean in the back of your head asking.
It's like he's here with us now.
What is what is on and off again? What is this?
Speaking of which, was a computer monitor. I almost imagined myself thinking that earlier.
Anyway, okay. So
can we physically touch this thing?
Yeah, Hera has done so.
Twice.
Yeah, Hera has touched it multiple times.
It feels like stone, but not quite like stone.
it's as cold as stone, and it's kind of like it feels like stone in the sense that it's definitely not like a normal skin sort of feel, and there's no warmth to it, and it's not really scaly. So it's this weird, like, not leathery, not skin, not scaly. Closest thing would be stone, but it also doesn't quite feel like you're touching stone. It's strange.
Has anybody tried
Well,
straight stabbing it yet?
If a fireball doesn't do it, I doubt a knife
What
will.
if-
But
What if
Go
we used
ahead.
venom on it?
Oh, I'd like to go up and I'd like to just.
A possible venom.
So what are you doing? Stabbing? Or
Yeah, I'm giving it the old Glasgow tap on the shoulder.
okay, and that is just with a normal dagger.
Yeah, just a normal dagger.
Okay. The dagger seems to find purchase and stab in.
Oh.
Mhm.
There's no movement or reaction from the entity. There's no blood or blood-like substance. The dagger slides in. Do you attempt to do anything else with it? Pull it out, push it further, drag it, anything?
Can I attempt to sever its limb?
This is on the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if I have any physical effect on the thing.
Okay.
Because if not being able to actually hurt it, maybe I can stop it from chasing me.
So you're attempting to kind of like drag it along?
Yeah.
Okay. As you go to grab the dagger and start moving it, it is seemingly locked in place.
It's the King of England as well.
Interesting.
You attempt to pull it out, and it doesn't come out. It is...
Okay, so Slenderman vampire, also sword in the stone.
True. Whoever can pull that dagger out is crowned King of Annocia. Perfect.
That's
Useful
Yes, indeed.
experimentation.
very useful. indeed.
Sam, definitely note this down. If
Oh, yeah.
terrifying, this is very good research.
Just make sure that someone looks at it while I'm writing in my book.
Also,
I'm
Hera,
going to continually stare at the thing. Yes.
for the time being, mark off -1 dagger.
Yeah, I know. I've kind of lost that thing now. That is gone. That's a gone dagger. Delete dagger.
But yeah, we could absolutely try to coat something in venom or something, and then try to stab it.
We said that the thing had a gaping maw-like mouth, didn't we?
Yeah, so the head is same color as like the limbs, this very ghostly pale white, like there's a zero color. And there, like, you can see where there should be eyes, almost like mannequin-esque, but it's featureless. No nose, no ears, no hair of any sort, no blemishes, just this strangely, like, featureless and almost flawless in a way, like mannequin head almost at the top, but then in the mouth, where the jaw would curve in on a normal human, it just continues down into this gaping mouth that hangs probably a foot or a foot and a half down from where it should. And where the mouth, the inside of the mouth would be, is this just dark, this void, like featureless. There's no teeth, there's no tongue, there's nothing. Like you see the opening and it is just pitch black.
I'd like to take my vial of basilisk venom,
Okay.
pour a spoonful of the venom into one of my silver spoons, and attempt to spoon feed this thing the
Is this
basilisk
one of
venom.
your
It's one of my
stolen
silver spoons.
stolen
Yes, it's one
spoons?
of my
Okay.
stolen spoons. I knew they'd have a use one day. I knew it.
Okay.
The cutlery.
And
Yeah,
you're attempting to do this into what you perceive as the mouth?
I am.
Okay. Do you reach in? Do you try to like splash it in that direction?
Here comes the airplay.
So you're going.
the
What's an
tip of
airplane?
the spoon.
Okay.
It's like a bird, but someone's transmuted the wings into metal.
Okay.
I'd like to the tip of the spoon all the
Mhm.
way in, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna turn it if I can.
Okay.
Turn it so that the venom pours into the mouth.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna retract the spoon.
Okay. So you reach in with the spoon, and more and more nervous as it gets closer, you finally get to the point where the tip of the spoon starts to disappear into the blackness. And you get it to a depth you think is good enough. You turn it. And as you pull the spoon back, every bit of the tip of the spoon that had entered the darkness has been corroded and twisted. The metal is bent and decayed and deformed in about every manner imaginable, whereas the rest of it that didn't go in was as you had entered it, totally fine. And the venom is gone. But the creature remains unmoving.
I'm going to keep the decayed spoon
Mhm.
and put it back in my bag and go, evidence. And put it back in my bag without taking my eyes off the thing. And then step way back again.
Okay. As you begin to step back, a sudden familiar feeling kind of washes over you, similar to that magical essence you felt when next to the rune carved into the serpent.
Oh,
Nothing particularly
this thing has had its necromanced.
nefarious or targeting or active per se, but not something you felt until now. Just a slight faint aura, and then it fades out and is gone.
The snake. I'm going to relay the feeling to everyone else with the message channel again.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go, have we got the statues out?
They're outside.
Okay. How feasible is it to take the snake out too?
As if it wasn't hard enough without this thing.
I'm thinking about that snake.
I'm sorry, my friend, but I think the snake is to be left behind if we are to survive.
I would like to go back to over with Hera. But on my way, find any water I can. There's a well or some kind of I don't know how the water works in this place.
You'd be hard pressed to find any in the building at the moment.
Then whatever I have in my water skin.
Okay.
And I'm going to freeze the legs of this thing.
Okay.
To try and prevent it from moving. Because freezing lasts an hour.
Okay.
So to try and free up Hera to leave.
Okay. And you're using your ability.
shake water and I'm able to freeze.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And I guess we slowly try and close the door and get out.
So you freeze the legs. With the water that's in your water skin, it wouldn't be enough to cover the whole legs. It's a very tall entity, but you could at the very least try to like freeze in its feet.
Yeah.
To the ground. If you were going for that kind of vibe.
How heavy does this thing look?
No.
No.
I mean, consider if we're looking at it, like all of us looking at it, and it can't move,
No.
we could just take it somewhere, right? Like it's just a statue too.
What's the
A
worst that could happen
particularly
if it ever
ominous
gets out of sight?
Eldritch statue. I mean, we bring it to the town and it's constantly frozen.
I believe it's I believe it's too dangerous to take into a public place. It would at the very least frighten the children.
That's an understatement.
Hmm.
It would scar the children beyond belief.
Well, what's a good scarring for a childhood but some, spice? I take your point. Shall we close the door and make a hasty exit?
I think that is for the best.
This is the front door to the manor, you're thinking?
This is the closet door, wherever this thing is lurking.
This is on the side of the door that leads into the big dining hall. The side of the door that's the actual hallway. So within, like, you could close those doors, but it's only going to block off the dining hall. You still have the hallway to the front door, and it's in that hallway, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It hasn't entered the dining hall because that's where you guys were.
Mm-hmm.
Pipra, keep your ears out for it. The moment we close this door, see if you can detect where it'll go.
Okay.
So are you all on the outside of the building? Or I guess you would all be next to where the entity is, and you would have to decide to go towards the outside of the building. So you're going to make your way down the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Presumably keeping an eye on it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your staff still has a light on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you back down the hallway...
Ay.
You start to back up more and more, and the edge of the light, as it radiates out about 20 feet away, starts to draw closer to the entity before you get about towards the middle sections of the hallway, towards the front door, and the light has reached where the entity is. Beyond that, darkness. You continue to step back, and the second the light reaches the creature and then carries on beyond it, you hear the scraping. And Pipra, you sense movement.
Where did it go?
Out of range.
Oh no.
Oh.
But then in range. No, out of range. The scraping continues. It's to your left, or right, or above you, maybe? The scraping continues, and the scratching picks up. And you hear boards snap again.
Quickly. Move.
I keep an eye behind me, but move very, very quickly.
Okay. You guys all move to the door. The scraping
Yep.
continues. And what's the marching order towards the door? Who's closest to the door and who's last?
I can go first, I think.
I
Closest
think
to
I'll
the
go
door.
last, as though I'm still keeping an eye on this entity or where I think it's been.
Okay.
I'm middle.
Okay. Scraping continues as you make your way towards the door. Sam, you're able to step through the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're stepping through the doorway, Pipra, it flips back into range, and the scraping is a constant sound. Before, as you step through the door and turn, and Hera, you begin stepping through the door, just keeping an eye behind you, the double doors to the right that you hadn't opened at any point, pretty close to the main entryway, just adjacent of where the chandelier fell. Those doors burst open and fly against a wall as you're stepping out of the door, the main entryway into the building. What are you doing?
It's like
I'm
I said,
still
it's
looking backwards, but
This is in a split second. Pipra, you feel it draw closer. You guys hear the scrape. The doors are
Mhm.
blasted off of the hinges as the last one of you has exited this doorway. And you are all
it's
on
like
the outside.
it's like I said, it can't open doors.
Are you watching behind you? Are you going in? Are you
I'm
closing
watching
the door?
behind me. I'm
Are
watching
you-
behind me.
Okay, you're all through the door. Are you closing it? Are you keeping it open? Are you...
Closing.
Can I see the entity?
This is all in a split second. The doors have just been blasted open as you're stepping out.
I'm fireballing it and closing the door behind me.
Okay, you let loose a fireball and close the door in a hurry. And you hear the distant rumbling. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. 29 damage.
Okay. So you hear
hang
the
on.
fireball erupt.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's here.
I forgot that I gotta roll it on my side. Hold on, let me pull it up. We'll cut that one, but
What
I
did
keep
you
forgetting.
roll?
A 2. 1 second.
Oh
I
dear.
think... Okay. Please hold.
I'm making this very difficult.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
how
like the
bad.
sound of that.
Okay, as you let loose the fireball, and you close the door, and you guys hear the fireball go off, and it's followed by an eerie silence for a minute. And then you just faintly hear beyond the door the continued sound of scraping that, just as before, is on and off. And Pipra, you sense it in range, and out of range, in range again, and out, as it just moves at a blinding pace beyond the door. But seemingly not approaching the door or lingering. You guys do begin to hear through the door the faint sound of burning and a lingering fire
Fireball.
on the inside as the pitch black night lingers overhead. What are you doing in this moment?
Trying to get the statues and get out of there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna message everyone. Something bad just happened.
How could it be even worse?
Hey, so do you remember that storm down in the dungeon?
Yeah.
Magic Storm,
Yeah.
that genre of bad.
Oh. Well, what did you say about the snake again?
I'm thinking about that snake.
After a couple
I
of moments,
think
the scraping noise disappears. And it falls silent.
Oh.
And you guys are just on the outside of this building. The door closed. Both of the statues in tow. It is later in the night at this point, not too far from sunrise.
Let's get to town.
You would still want a little bit of rest for those who haven't gotten a long rest.
And let's get
Yeah.
an inn. Because I think any inn that we're going to get is better than this
Yeah.
haunted
you're right on that.
house.
Okay. So are you bringing the statues to an inn? Are you...
We're bringing the... Yeah.
Okay.
About what time of day is it?
It is... it'd probably be something like 3 or 4 in the morning. Pitch black out.
Perfect themed hours.
I really want my long rest.
Okay, so you guys attempt to locate an inn. Are you just looking for the closest place, or are you trying to go somewhere familiar that you've been before, or what?
Closest place.
Yeah, I would say that we have to carry the statues less far.
Okay.
Sincerely hope that whatever entity is tied to the house and not to like something we carry.
Well, if it's something we carry, then we'll find out very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Closest to you guys, you are able to, in a very noteworthy and interesting scene, drag 2 stone statues along with you of humanoids as you make your way through the city streets, trying to remain as quiet and discreet as you can. Eventually locate a building marked Shorian Sink, which has all of the appearances of a tavern. Nobody on the outside, given time of days, probably likely the reason. There is not been a single person that you've seen since you exited the manor. But the building appears to be lit from the inside.
Let's go ahead and...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys enter, are you leaving the statues outside, or are you bringing those through the front door?
Through the front door, like, why not?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, as you guys approach the front door and begin entering and trying to drag the statues in, you can't help but notice the sudden and loud noise that breaks the silence of stone statue dragging along the wooden floor, scraping and scuffing it up as you drag these statues onto the inside. And it isn't too long before a a shorter and of bulkier build Ogre woman appears from the staircase to the left of the entranceway in somewhat of a hurried state, running down the stairs and then glancing around the room before meeting all of you guys, all of your gaze as you look up in your scared, spooked, confused, and also surprised looks on all of your faces as you have your petrified companions in tow, like mid dragging in through the door. Like you all just kind of stop and everyone just stares at each other for a second, like this is a really awkward encounter. And the woman who now you can see is an ogre woman with brown hair that kind of comes down to like about shoulder length, and is of a shorter and bulkier build, similar height to Kulan, and appears to be some range of like a middle-aged, something like 40s or so in age, and is kind of like blinking away. You get the indication that this individual was asleep previously and very much jolted awake, and just kind of looks at you guys for a moment in this silence that feels like an eternity before finally speaking up and gesturing towards the statues. What are you doing? What? And just gazes at all of you individually. What is this? Why are you bringing these statues in to my tavern?
These are our friends. They've been petrified.
Yes, these are our good friends.
Do you know how loud you're being?
We apologize, but we were in a hurry.
Well, you don't have to bring them
Very difficult
inside.
to drag stone, isn't it?
There's just stone statues. You can leave them by the front door. They're not going to go anywhere.
Well, they might get stolen. You never know who might be dragging statues around at 3 in the morning.
Who's going to steal stone statues at 3 in the morning? What are you doing?
Someone stole a rug at 3 in the morning.
And I'm very salty about it. Very salty indeed.
She's just got this like dumbfounded look. You can't bring those in. You've got to keep them outside. I'm sorry.
Well,
you can stay here.
Do you have a shed that we can lock them in?
No, but if you leave them out front, I'm sure they'll be fine until the morning. It's a couple hours away. You're gonna wake everyone up upstairs if you continue to try to bring them inside. Can't have that.
Well, it's the dragging that makes the noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if we were to carry them?
I mean, if you can do it quietly, but if you drop them and make all that noise, that's on all of you guys.
I'm gonna flash my coin purse and go, how much is a little noise worth to you?
It honestly depends on how much business we lose from it. So let's just hope for your sake that there's no noise.
Understood. That being the case, good afternoon. My name is Hera Goldcretion. I'm here to buy 2 rooms from your service.
2 rooms, you say? She turns and scurries off to the kind
One
of
suitable for statue inhabitants, if you can.
front counter, and she glances back up at you. Oh, you're planning to bring them upstairs.
Do you have any rooms on the first floor?
No, I'm afraid not. She gestures around. Everything you can see here, it's quite rowdy with the bunch who like to gather in places like these. So we've dedicated a whole floor to it. She's cycling or shuffling through like a sort of book at this point.
Just as Vation's just said, I'm going to try and open up a communications channel with the statues. I want to try and message the brains stuck inside them. I'm going to go, hello, Hera to statues.
Nothing happens.
No, okay, worth a shot. I'm sure they wouldn't be too sad about being left in the tavern, would they?
I doubt stones would be sad about anything.
I was about to say, like, it must be the safest point in the room, surely.
Mm-hmm.
At the conclusion of this back and forth, she hurriedly kind of scurries her way up to your group and reaches out a hand, presumably with something in her fist that she's giving you. Do you reach out for it?
Yeah, I reach out for it.
Okay.
I'll accept this.
She drops in your hand a couple of keys and says, I'm Vorania. Your rooms are right upstairs, to the right. In the first couple of doors. We had some cancellations last night. I ask that you
Great,
please...
it's lovely to make your acquaintance.
I ask that you don't make any noise further than what you have at this point, and you're welcome to stay. You have the rooms for the day. It is going to be 4 gold pieces for the 2 of them, given
I hand over
the circumstances.
gold pieces.
Oh, well, all right. And she reluctantly takes them without arguing.
Okay. For the noise.
Very well. I will leave you guys to it, I suppose, and well, hopefully, and she's kind of turning around at this point, just talking to herself. Hopefully nobody else was awoken by that, as she goes upstairs and just kind of heads back towards what you can assume be her chambers upstairs. And just like that, the tavern of the bottom floor is left empty once more. Lit, but empty of individuals.
If anyone would like to help me upstairs with these 2, then you're more than welcome to get some sleep.
I suppose we just get to it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys attempting, are you going to leave the statues downstairs, or are you attempting to pick them up and bring them up, or?
I think we're trying to pick them up and bring them up.
Yeah, sure.
I guess.
Okay. Is this all 3 of you one at a time, or are you splitting it and bringing them both up at once, or?
Real
I think
quick,
we're going
we
one
could-
at a time.
Yeah.
Right?
Minimize
We could also
the
just have
noise.
someone stay downstairs with them.
That's fair.
Oh, true, I am long rested.
Yeah.
I could just
Yeah.
lurk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
lurk.
Yeah,
Go
I
upstairs.
think that's better.
Okay.
I'll just lurk with my statue buddies downstairs.
Okay. So,
And I'll hand the keys to the others as well.
Yep.
got it. Sam and Pipra make their way upstairs to the 2 rooms that were purchased and are able to finish out a long rest while Hera watches over in the tavern.
Am I able to see the... Oh, I'm in the tavern.
Mhm.
Is anyone there to serve me at the moment?
Nope. You get the indication that would have been Vorania, but went back up and back to bed.
Fair enough.
Okay. So do you wait out the remaining
No day
time?
drinking for Hera. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll wait out the remaining time.
Okay. You will in this time, considering you had your long rest and that did stuff, you'll have a short rest while they are finishing their rest. And day breaks, and everyone begins to come to. As the sun starts to rise, Hera, you just witness as the first couple of patrons make their way in to the tavern in the morning. Only a couple people for the late morning crowd, and eventually Verenia comes downstairs, doesn't say a word, just disappears behind the counter. You can hear, presumably just set up for the day. Eventually another individual is seen heading back behind the counter as well, as food starts to be prepared. And eventually, both Sam and Pipra make their way downstairs, unless you guys had something else in mind beforehand.
Don't think so.
Okay. And it is a new day for you to do as you wish.
I think it's time to look for an apothecary.
Yeah.
An apothecary.
Oh, so close.
An
A
apothecary.
carry.
Nice.
Taking a bow. Goodness. An apothecary. Yes. Let's head into town. We'll see if we can't catch the opening hours.
I think someone should stay with our stone friends still.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're taking volunteers, I'd like to hand the snake carving and the 2 vials and what remains of the venom to the others. I'm gonna go. I believe you'll be needing these.
Thank you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm going to engage in my favorite activities. I'm going to day drink. Good luck.
Okay, so
Okay.
Pippa and Sam exit the tavern. You see around you the early stirrings of individuals getting about their day as the sun begins to slowly rise higher and light up portions of the lower tier here, much of it remaining dark and shaded, but especially in the morning hours, as with the evening hours where the sun is on the horizon, it provides more light than normal. What is your course of action?
Just kind of look for an apothecary, ask anyone that we see if they know where one is.
Yeah.
Okay. Asking around for a little bit, it doesn't take long before a passerby mentions something about a healer in the western regions of the lower tier of the city as your potential best lead. You are able to gather that you are currently at this tavern, the Shorian Sink, in the southern areas of the lower tier.
I suppose we are heading over to the west in that case.
Yep, that
Yeah.
would be roughly back in the direction of the manor. Somewhat.
I'm going to be looking around in case I see a 3 foot tall slender man looking creature.
Okay.
But yeah,
Nothing catches your attention as you're walking along.
good.
Eventually, you notice as you draw nearer to roughly the spot in which you think the manor was left. It was not easy to keep directions in the pitch black, just trying to escape the place the previous night. But roughly from where you would expect it to be, there seems to be a fog of sorts. The air gets a little denser before you pick up on like the smell of burnt wood, and you begin to realize that it is actually like a smoke that has sort of filled the air. And
Well,
you push on for a bit before eventually hearing an elevated sort of hustle and bustle of the place. And
burnt down the mansion.
as you turn a corner, you see the familiar sight of the barred walls that surround the plot in which Grimshade Estate lies. Now, partially in rubble at what you can only assume to be being partially burnt down overnight. At this point, there's no fire remaining, but you can see that an entire wing of the building, the kind of like right side of it, and then portions of the center have kind of collapsed into just like a giant pile of rubble, essentially. And it is quite a scene, and people are just kind of gathered. Nobody at the building itself, everyone just kind of right outside the gates, just kind of crowding around, just looking at it and talking amongst themselves.
Good to know. No one expects us of arson, I hope.
As you continue on, assuming you don't stop there, but let me know if you want to.
That's fine.
Are they still within message distance?
No, they would be out of range.
Okay.
You continue on and eventually find what you, with asking around to better pinpoint the location, find what you believe to be the healer that you are searching for. You find a humble little, seeming like a home, not necessarily looking like any particular business or anything of such, with a sign out front with the name Junilia Cloudborn etched on the front of it, and then right below it, healer. And beyond that, there's nobody on the outside. It seems like an unassuming residence with a door out front and a window to the right.
Well, shall we?
We shall.
Is it a shop or is it a more of a house?
It seems more of a house from what you can tell so far. It's kind of on an in-between like a residential area and more of a commercial area, so it's a little confusing, but...
In that case, I will knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door. A moment goes past. Another moment before eventually you hear on the other side the door unlatches, and as it opens on the other side you are greeted by a female Ezru human who's got curly hair that's just a very strong silver color, curls down around the shoulders. She appears to be fairly young, like mid to late 20s. Her eyes are gray, kind of similar to the hair, and she's got very pale skin. She's fairly shorter than most humans, and she looks as though she hasn't been awake for all too long. Maybe not just woken up, but just kind of getting around for the day. And she opens the door and kind of looks up at both of you, close to salmon height, if not a little shorter. Hello. Sorry, haven't fully opened yet. Did you need healing services?
Ah, yes. Sorry to disturb you in such an early time in the morning. You see, our fellow companions stumbled upon a less but friendly creature and have been unfortunately turned to stone.
Oh my. She turns and kind of glances back into the building and then looks back in your direction and ushers you guys inside. Well, it's not something that I've had any encounters with before, but as she ushers you in and just kind of walks to the inside, assuming you guys will follow, and makes her way behind the counter and kind of bends down and starts shuffling through some books that are just behind the counter before eventually popping up with one in hand and laying it out on this counter, which now on the interior you can see appears to be more shop-like on the inside than on the outside. It's got kind of a distinguishable sort of shopkeep counter, what you might expect, that has, you know, a doorway behind it, kind of disappears into some room in the back. And around you can see all kinds of like shelves and displays. It's a very calmly lit interior, all candlelight, no lanterns or anything. And on the various shelves and displays, you can see various sort of bits and bobs that almost seem... It almost makes it feel like a museum more than anything. It doesn't have like, you know, a whole shelf of like potions and stuff that you might expect normally. It's kind of an odd but calm and welcoming scene for the inside of it. She cycles through the book, shuffles through the pages, and eventually stops on one, and as she's intently reading and just kind of mumbling to herself, she eventually looks back up at you guys. Where are these friends of yours?
They are being kept at a tavern at the moment. We didn't feel like just carrying them around. They weigh quite a lot at the moment.
Right, yeah. Suppose that makes sense. I've dealt with a great many things so far, but this is not one of them. I think I know just what they might need, but I don't have experience with it, so I can't guarantee that it will for sure solve it. But if you would still like me to try, I can see what I can do.
Anything would be helpful. We appreciate any help.
All right. Okay. Given I've never done anything like this before, I'm really unsure of what kind of cost it'll be, but I guess we can see if it'll work first and go from there, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
All right. Well, lead the way, I guess. Let me, she walks over to another part of the counter and grabs a key ring that she starts shuffling around with. Let me make sure I can lock up the place as we go, and follows you guys outside, locks the door behind her, and do you lead her back the way you came?
Yes.
Okay. You guys make your way.
Hera's not gotten drunk in the
Okay.
amount of time we've been gone.
You guys start making your way back, and Hera, as your friends leave the building, you are left with yourself, the two statues, currently two seemingly undescript patrons just moseying about in the morning crowd, and a fairly quiet tavern scene, now lit both by lantern and the faint morning sunlight that peers through the occasional windows.
Fantastic. Is it just a very kind of middle class looking tavern?
It's, I would say, more so than the Wayward Wyvern that you guys were in previously. This one seems like kind of the next step up, if you will. Not necessarily that there's like a bunch of well-to-do people that would be here. It's not a very big step up, but it's, you know, if you had to compare the two, the rougher crowd is going to go to the other one, and this will be more of the tame crowd, albeit tame by tavern standards. So
What color is the silverware?
There is currently no silverware out and about, as the only patrons that are in there are not currently eating, but just having a drink.
I'd like to order myself some food just while I'm waiting here. I'd like to.
Okay.
Yes. Hello. I'm looking for something sweet for breakfast. Do you do a good pain au chocolat here?
Vorenia looks at you and stops and just gives you this
Even a croissant would do.
confused look, and then she just kind of like gestures, points behind her, in this like confused but like not even really putting a bunch of effort towards it. She's like, we got potatoes, maybe some fruits I can find.
Fantastic. That will do just fine. Thank you very much.
All right. And she makes her way to the back. You can hear.
And while you're there, do you serve cocktails at this hour?
I can whip something up. Why not?
Fantastic. I never did get a chance to celebrate the mission yesterday.
Very well. And disappears in the back. You can hear mumbled voices. You can't really pick out the words, but from what you gather,
and two
just
more for my frozen compatriots as well, if you have the time.
You hear from the back. You just hear some semblance of acknowledgement, like the voice raises a little bit, as you get the idea there's just like a conversation in the back between, employees just talking, and they're just doing their thing back there. You hear the occasional kitchen-esque noises, occasional clanging, sizzling. You hear or smell various things, and the various other patrons are kind of coming and going, never hitting more than 3 people inside at any given point. Very quiet. And eventually...
Do the other patrons look like adventuring types?
From what you gather, they're all residents of the city. This is like, they're likely regulars. These are, morning crowd that are here often,
perfect.
if not, every day or whatever. They come in, they're very quiet, they don't really say anything, they don't interact with each other, they just come in, get a drink, sit down for a bit, go on about their day, kind of a crowd.
I'd like to strike up a conversation with one of them.
Okay.
Good morning.
You see this human man with a kind of scraggly beard, unable to really tell age-wise, but probably middle-aged or older, perhaps. The beard is kind of more of like a brownish black that's kind of graying over, but like a really deep gray. And has like a hat on, akin to kind of like a beanie-esque sort of hat, so you can't really make out any of the hair details or anything. Kind of looks up from the drink and just kind of silently studies you for a moment before speaking up. Hello, can I help you?
I was hoping you could. See, I'm something of a tourist around these parts. I know, terrible. But I was hoping for some local advice. See, and I'm going to produce the mangled spoon from earlier.
Okay.
I was handed this. I'm not sure whether to call it a trinket, but apparently it means bad luck. I was hoping maybe I could get some local eyes on it, just to, refresh me being an uncultured person, as it were. What do you make of this?
That's a messed up spoon. I don't know what to tell you.
See, I thought as much, but then again, what do I know?
He takes a sip from his drink and just kind of silently acknowledges.
I'm just gonna leave.
He just goes back to his drink. Okay. Eventually,
Messed up spoon.
Verania comes back from beyond and lays out a plate in front of you, assuming you're sitting at the bar at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. lays out a plate in front of you, and it seems like it's some form of cooked potatoes with a couple of fruits on the side. Like she said, unsure how the preparation was or what all is there, but potatoes and fruits, what you got? And a cocktail-like beverage to the side in just this nondescript, just kind of like battered, scarred up mug, as you would expect from a tavern. And
fantastic.
Leaves you to it. Disappears in the back.
Is there one for my frozen compatriots as well?
I figured I would wait until they're not frozen. But
Well,
I mean, I can.
Can't help but lighten the spirits.
Okay. And disappears, and after a couple moments comes back out with 2 more, 1 for each.
I would
Sets them
like
on the
to
bar.
precariously position the mugs on just any flat surface on the stone that I can possibly find, and just position the mugs
So their
say,
heads.
on top of their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to take a sip of my cocktail, and I'd like to tuck into breakfast.
Okay. So you
And
do
that's
that.
how I'm going to be waiting for the others to return.
Got it. So Sam and Pipra, you make your way back to the tavern, and upon entering the tavern that you had once left previously with Junelia in tow, you open the door, and the first thing you see directly across the way is Hera sitting at the bar, empty plate in front, just kind of like staring off into space, and nearby the statues of your 2 friends with mugs on their heads, just frozen in place, and the various 2 other patrons scattered about the rest of the tavern. You don't see the barkeep currently, and that is the scene as you enter. The door opens, and Hera, you hear as seemingly people are entering the tavern.
Ah, friends! Welcome. I've treated our dear frozen compatriots to a beverage. Can't be easy being a statue, after all.
Oh
Well,
my!
it looks like
you guys
you had a
hear
fun time.
Junelia from behind as she, like, removed from this conversation, just makes her way up to the stone statues and just begins kind of looking them over as you guys are talking. If you continue talking, I guess. Was there any other words, or are you guys just watching?
I'm going to
Yeah.
shake my head and remove the mugs from their heads.
Okay.
You should try it. It's quite delicious.
I give it a sniff and then set it down.
The
The scent you get is, for lack of a better description, the scent is just, yeah, Hera ordered that, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you guys at this point waiting for Junelia, or?
Yeah.
So she studies the statues for a bit and glances up in your direction, Hera. Are you one of the friends here? I'm assuming.
I am indeed.
Oh, well, very nice to meet you. I'm Junelia, the healer around here.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I am unsure if I'll be able to help, but I will try my best. I've never encountered petrification before. Hopefully, with all of the other things I've addressed, it will prove helpful. I have an idea based on what we have lying around the shop. So, I guess there's nothing. Is there a preference on which one I should attempt first? I don't know if it's going to work.
What would happen if you were to fail?
I don't even know what's gonna happen if it succeeds. I think at worst nothing happens at all, and we're just left guessing. But who knows?
Well, that's where we are right now. So, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I'm of the same mind, and hopefully it does end up working out, because it'd be very valuable information to have. She continues on over to Ocean's statue and places her hands out in front of her, and you see as this kind of golden sort of radiating energy starts to materialize kind of around her hands, almost like her hands are now in these like golden bubbles, but it's less of a bubble texture and more of kind of like this fog or sort of mist around both of her hands. She brings them together and then places them on the statue on either shoulder from right in front, and you watch as the hands are placed on the shoulder, the golden fog or mist starts to slowly encompass the entirety of Ocean's body from head to toe before parts of the stone start to kind of melt away like water, eventually to a point where one arm is kind of free and then just kind of falls limp to the side, and then the other, and the rest of the body is removed from the stone, and Ocean, in a split second, in the snap of a finger, you go from your relief of having slain the creature in the cave to now, in quite literally one frame, you are now in this tavern looking at this group in front of you with no clue as to how you are here now.
Yeah, where am
Looks
I?
like that cocktail
What is
hit you
this?
very hard. Here, let me hold it for you.
Welcome back.
What is this? Hello?
Welcome
Hello.
back.
You were petrified.
What?
You were a stone statue for a good while.
No,
Like
I'm
this
Ocean.
one.
I'm not stone.
Hera
You were
points.
Stone Ocean.
Hera points over Ocean, and you see Kulan, frozen in place, stone statue style, like as he was in those moments during the end of the fight, and just like completely still, just stone statue, unmoving.
We're just getting to our dear friend.
Is this Kulan?
Yes.
Indeed it is.
Why is Kulan stone?
Well, we decided to get him commemorated for his fearsome battlery.
It's not nice.
I jest, my dear. We're getting him unfrozen.
Just like we got you unfrozen.
No, okay.
How do you feel? Ocean, directed at you, the younger human woman who is shorter than the group with silver hair and gray eyes, who, as you came to, was hands on your shoulders, presumably the reason that you are now unfrozen in stone.
Very confused.
She's just giving you a curious look, as you know, she's never encountered this kind of thing before, so you gather she's just trying to understand a little bit more about it as she addresses the group. Well, at least it worked. Guess I'll... And she moseys over to where Kulana is. I guess I'll get the other one. And she, just as before, brings her hands out, and this golden sort of mist encompasses them before placing her hands on the shoulders, and all of Kulan's form is covered in this golden mist as it slowly starts to... The stone melts away like a liquid over the course of a couple moments, and about 10 seconds later, the process is done. And Kulan, you come to a split second after the serpent had been slain and you were in the cavern, and you felt that tightening sensation within, to now at this moment that is completely gone, and you are now in this tavern with this unfamiliar silver-haired human woman, hands on your shoulders, close to your height, although a little bit taller, shorter than any human you've seen, and the rest of your friends behind you.
What has happened?
Ah, you're finally awake.
We dead?
Thought you tried to cross
yes.
the border
Yes,
with
this
that
is-
jeep over there.
We're
Carry
not
on.
dead, right?
Yes, this is the afterlife. I'm sorry, my friend.
This is the most disappointing afterlife I've ever seen before.
Indeed. Have a cocktail.
I don't drink.
Have a water. I pass him some water.
Kulan, they are just messing with you.
We are.
Oh,
They turned you into stone.
We
did
did
they
not
say they
turn them
killed you?
into stone.
You said you turned Kulan into stone because Kulan was such a brave fighter.
Well, the snake
I
did
said
that.
no such thing. The snake thought you were a
Yep.
very brave fighter.
I don't know how to feel. How long has it been?
Around 6
Uh,
months. Well, 6 hours. But we can dream.
Oh my master will be so mad. I need to leave.
It's
Wait.
only been a day.
Oh,
6 hours tops. Really.
oh.
Yep.
Well, I don't mind. I would really like to rest. My leg is hurting a lot. It's almost falling asleep over here.
Makes sense.
And
Yes.
I think my wounds haven't healed quite yet either.
I'm also very tired and I'm a little bit hurt.
Well, we have the rooms for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I will pass Kulan my key and show
I'll
him
give
to the
mine
room so he
to
can get some rest.
Ocean.
Thank you. I definitely need to rest right now.
After all the trickery I've pulled, I'm sure the rooms are on me.
Thank you. And you're sure these keys are ours as well? You lied a lot today.
Certainly.
I look to the others. Are they ours?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I trust you. Try and go up to one of the rooms.
Okay.
And fall asleep.
Okay.
Or actually, I just meditate, I think.
I will also go to a room.
Okay.
I'll play with my flute and then go to sleep.
All right. Junelia, after both of them have left, looks back towards Pippa and Sam. Well, I guess it worked. Usually when it comes to the Greater Restoration spell, it's... well, more than I'd like to charge you guys because of the predicament. I would hate for that fate to befall me or anyone I know, so I'll just charge you guys 100 gold for both of them combined.
Hmm. Has anyone got 60 gold to make up?
I've got
I'm
50.
sure I can give 30, I think.
Yep, so you guys have enough amongst you, just choose how to
Yep.
divvy it up.
Sure. I have
We've
44
got the-
total.
We've got the Colin and the bounty for the
That's it.
house.
Of course.
Yeah, once you gather that, you'll be good. Harley sneeze.
Bless you, Harley.
Okay,
Well,
so
if we all divvy in equally now, we can split
Yep.
the bounty equally in a moment.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
So 33.333. That works out the same perfectly.
33 and a third.
Is that how much you're all three removing?
Yep, 33 gold.
Okay, yep, that'll do. We'll say the one is on the house. Okay. With that, Junia, in a somewhat hurry, as having left the shop and now the day getting closer to noon, scurries off, leaves you guys to it. The three of you who rescued your petrified friends in the tavern, and those friends of which getting some rest upstairs, we'll say can both make sure that you guys are now fully long rested, and we will pick up from that point in the next session.